is always hard to welcome. Not in the sense that you look at it in a bad way, but you know, it's like everything's gonna change. 1 week after, even maybe 2 days after, you're gonna look back and be like, I was so stupid to even hesitate.
TI was on such short notice, hey, we're gonna make a tournament, $1 million. We were like, okay. It's like, is this real?
Prior to the event, I think was it DK, they declined an invite because they didn't believe it was true. A lot of the pros at the time, when they transitioned, they're like, oh, well, we'll just do it this one time. It's a lot of money involved and just go back to Dota 1.
I thought it was a little ridiculous, to be honest with you, for playing for $1 million. That was like by far the highest paying prize pool of any Dota tournament.
What do you think of Dota 2 so far?
I'm just waiting for it to be finished because, you know, all the little bugs and tweaks and I guess some of the animations aren't complete.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of understood and accepted that no one was going to be ready.
We just went with it. We accepted the fact that this is the game now.
当时我们去打 TI1 的比赛的时候，然后我队友他连就是装备都怎么买都不知道，然后就很尴尬。
We took it very seriously. During that time, we wanted to be the best team regardless. We didn't even want to lose anything that was, let's say, fake. We didn't care.
Na'Vi, they had a set number of heroes, maybe 10, 15 heroes that they played throughout the tournament.
And we were choosing them by attack animation. We were thinking, okay, those guys, they have some broken attack animation. Let's choose them.
We really never played in booths like that. We abused the booths. Dendi was just jumping up and like, screwing around with people every time the first blood happened or something like that. Tagil, you do this. Tagil!
Tagil! We were like not realizing that we actually play for this amount of money. We were just playing and having fun. We were so confident. I remember we were so confident that we're going to win because I joined the game and I feel so free.
When the first international ended and we saw the whole spectacle surrounding it, everyone knew that this was something that was going to come long term, and other tournament organizers immediately jumped on it and wanted to run this game.
Esports definitely grew a lot the next coming years after that, more than it did prior to it. As much as people dislike the changes in the beginning, they're all for the better, and I think Dota now is better than it's ever been.
It just felt like this is going to be the future. You know, it set a message. This is what esports is going to be.
The All-Star matches are always fun at TI. This is where, you know, everybody gets to have fun from players' perspective and fans' perspective.
Community could vote for players, and 10 players who would get most votes would play 5 against 5.
You really appreciate it, especially when you're not chosen, because then you remember it. It means more, right? It's just this good feeling that you know that you're appreciated.
能被邀请去那个打明星赛，其实我觉得就对自己来说就非常兴奋吧，因为我是一个明星。
很喜欢那个就是有写着我名字的那件 T 恤，然后但是我还是比较喜欢玩，不喜欢当 coach。就是很开心啊，就感觉他们穿了就是那个衣服，就好像在支持我一样。
TI3 one, I guess, was the most memorable one, where Dendi, you know, ran around after he killed me.
I just had some fun, you know, trolling around.
Whatever, still won the match, easy.
Last year it was crazy, like, because it was 10 against 10.
That was great. I had to pick one guy and some other guy stood up and it ended up in a rock, scissors, paper, you know. I felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, you know, everyone was having fun.
I think last year's All-Star match was by far like the best one.
For some reason, you have to sit here. Like everybody else chose their own spots to sit. Something's going on here.
How confident are you in this team?
You know, sitting next to Dendi. Old times, you know?
You wish it were Dendi.
Isn't it?
When mask was pulled off, I was like shaking my head and went like, oh, I'm sorry, people around me, all in my sweat. Opa, Dandy. It was amazing. And I had a lot of fun.
所以当时我觉得娱乐的时候，我买圣剑，我还是要继续全水去虐他们，然后对不起，我虐了你们，但是输了那场游戏过后，竟然开心，但是又有点丢脸的感觉。
我对明星赛的印象，我觉得现在是做的越来越娱乐了，因为本来就大家不是为了输赢就做的越来越有趣了。
Of course you want to win it still, you know? You don't want to, be the all-star team that loses.
I would love to see being a professional gamer is actually worth your time and like you can make a living out of it. I'd obviously like for it to be a professional sport like any of the sports out today, and if they've grown. It's going to take time, first of all. A lot of the world isn't really open to like gaming and online gaming and stuff like that, and especially around here, if you talk about, oh, I'm a professional gamer, they're like, you're a what?
Fear Darkness was like an idol for all the North American players. I just respect him a lot as a person and as a player.
Fear 这个人呢，其实一直都知道他是美国队长嘛，他是EG的灵魂吧。
When I was younger and just playing video games for fun, I didn't have an end game at all, and I thought after a few years it would probably catch up to me, but somehow like it just caught on and just became very popular, and I became successful doing it. To be able to be on a top team, you need to play, like 6 to 9 hours a day at the bare minimum. The thing that happened that almost made me quit entirely was when I got my first arm injury. Like, I had no idea if it was going to heal or not, and I was like really scared that my career would be completely over at that point.
I think the most challenging part of it was the timing. The diagnoses from the doctors is kind of vague. We thought he was getting better.
I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, why'd this have to happen to me? Like, I've been playing my whole life, and all of a sudden I just can't play anymore right when I have the biggest opportunity of my life.
After like a month or two, I was like, okay, this really isn't going away at this point. And then eventually it's like, okay, there's no way I can practice right now, and there's no way I'm going to be able to compete at TI because of how much time this has already taken away.
I think what kept me going after I got my injury was just, like hope, like hoping that it would heal and I'd be able to play again, because it's a huge motivator for me. It's like I had an injury and then I missed the biggest tournament of the year because of it on a team which I had a good shot. I just hoped my arm would heal and I'd have one more opportunity to get the championship.
I have so much respect for Quentin and all the time he has put into this game, and if anybody deserves to win the international, it's him.
Fear, coming off of a pretty serious injury, does it do anything for the confidence of the whole team having him back and a part of it?
I think everyone on our team has the utmost faith in him to be a strong player that we know he can be. He's also our carry player, so a lot of the game rests on his ability to help us win.
When Fear rejoined EG after his injury, I really look up to the way he made that team function. I think a lot of it was on him, and he didn't
they can up the game to be able to match that got going. I'm keen to see how this one's going to turn out. Obviously, we're looking at Army Geniuses here. Narman He is looking pretty happy there in the bottom left-hand corner. For those that aren't aware of him by the new name, it's Hustler. Had a few stints, of course, on SEA teams as well as in the European region. But he does kind of feel like the star player of this team, doesn't he?
Yes, without a doubt. And it's kind of position fours, they can really take over games. And I mean, Narman is no different at all in Southeast Asia. And we are well and truly into the draft. Army Geniuses on the Radiant side opened up with the Gyro Faceless Void and Xerxia into the Earthshaker and the Nature's Prophet on the Dire side. What are we chuckling at? What do we got here?
I mean, have you been watching some Army Geniuses gameplay so far in these qualifiers? I know you and I haven't really gotten to cast too much of it, but have you been watching? Because we know for them, when you see these two heroes, you might be thinking, what? Two safe lane cores? How's this going to work? No. That's not how they look to go about it. It's the Narman Faceless Void that they like to bring out in that position 4. So they can, of course, flex it to the position 1 as well. But it's the same sort of thing with the Gyrocopter, right? That was one of the DB specialties that came out when it's paired together with an IO, for example. But IO not really in this meta right now, so I'm feeling like this is just going to be the support pairing that they've got with that flex capability.
How many times have they given Narman the Faceless Void? Because I know you mentioned yesterday. Twice? Okay. Wow. 2 times, maybe too many with the Faceless Void, but they've had success with it. So obviously
they're
they
still
feel
in
like
the tournament, aren't they?
Exactly. So maybe there's some recent success, and they feel it's not only is it strong in a carry role, but also now in potentially support. And Army Geniuses, they really like flexing the Gyrocopter to a position 5 as well. This is something that Varish has the capability to play, and it didn't matter really what roster Army Geniuses are with. They've always liked the Gyros at 5. So they do also get something a little bit different. Xerxia going down the Nature's Prophet route and the first phase Nature's Prophet as well. Like, I truly thought this was going to be a hero that, with the change to the Aghanim Shard, we were not going to see him. At least not first phase, maybe like a situational pick in the last phase. But why do we feel like Xerxia have gone for the Nature's Prophet at the 8th?
It's still the flex for them as well, right? They play it across position 1, 3, and 5. So you're not really locking in any of these lanes. You can really throw them around however you want to. It's actually, there's a player within the SCA region called Dogbrain, and his style of playing the Nature's Prophet, Arna likes to replicate it whenever he's playing a support, is you literally try and have as close to 0 net worth as possible, and your team fight contribution is your ult, and that's it. All you're doing is pushing. I'm not sure how viable that is anymore now that they nerfed the Aghanim Shard, so it doesn't give you the greater treants, because that was a big part of it, right? Like, you just get by the Aghanim Shard, you buy a Moon Shard, and you feed it to yourself. You just basically only have like a Blightstone and maybe an attack speed item, like a minor one, like a Gloves of Haste or something. And then you're just pushing towers constantly. So probably a little bit less likely to go down that position 5 route these days, considering it's called the Curse of the Forest or something like that, is the new Nature's Prophet Aghanim Scepter. Curse of the Old Growth.
Curse of the Old Growth, yeah. Definitely not the shard that was as broken as what it was beforehand here for Xerxia. But for either side, got a lot of team fight, and we've got some push coming out as well. Like you said, really, we're just looking at the flex. That's the main thing that both Army Geniuses and Xerxia put a lot of priority on in the first phase. So are there any second phase bans that really stand out?
Hold on a moment. Can we just go back to Teehee for a second there? On the position 5. Those are some nice mutton chops that my man has got going on right now. He is just rocking that style. I wish he could turn to the side so we just get a full sense of the glory. He emphasizes the jawline. Do you think I could pull that off?
No, I do not think so. Not at all.
No, I can't. I can't pull off many hairstyles, to be honest.
The sideburns, was something popular when you were growing up as a boomer yourself?
Okay, yeah. No, the sideburns have never been popular, dude. I try and keep them as short as possible. In all seriousness, I think this game, it's going to be Rapido playing the Nature's Prophet, just because it's going to be a pretty decent response to the Gyro, right? If you're liking to play it on Varize in the laning stage, then obviously you're not really wanting to use the flak cannon all that much. It's more around the rocket barrage and the homing missile. Rocket barrage, if you've got a bunch of treants, they're going to be soaking up a lot of this damage. And I feel like Nature's Prophet works kind of well together with a Shaker, right? Not only do you have the Fisher to go for some of these block-off attempts, but you've also got all of the individual treants as well. So maybe this is going to be a game where, this is the mid Ember Spirit to be able to deal with the Treants a little bit, assuming it's going to be a core. But perhaps they actually do flex this to be a position 1 gyrocopter and then just actually go that flak cannon build into the Nature's Prophet so that you can deal with the Treants.
Look at the response from Xerxia. Pretty goddamn fast with the Invoker. But a great matchup versus the... Oh, no.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it to come through from Wommy. He's been spamming this recently. And anytime you go a little bit too single target, and as long as you got an eye on that Earthshaker to make sure that there's no massive Echo Slams coming out, it's going to be a really effective game for this Broodmother. He goes down 2 different routes. It's either the Orchid into the BKB, and then it's just like picking off these heroes that have a pretty pathetic escape attempt. Otherwise, it's just around getting into the Wraith Pact and then just pure aura items and looking to shove out lanes that way. I think this game, it's probably going to be around the aura items just because, like I was saying, they don't really have that effective tools to be able to deal with this constant Broodmother push in a lane.
It's something that definitely Southeast Asia are not shy about picking up. I mean, you see the likes of Lilgun, you'd always be forced to ban the Broodmother in the first phase, and it put teams in a position where you had to learn how to play against the hero. And we even saw a lot of other teams be able to play it as well. I mean, Armor Geniuses, like you mentioned, Wommy really likes it. DB plays it as well. So what can they do to now protect the Broodmother? Because this is a hero that you really want to make sure he gets off to a good game. So do you feel like the Naga and Slark are enough bans, and did they leave something else in the pool?
I'm just trying to think who exactly is playing what right now, right? So if Army Geniuses, it's going to be Azura, Ember, Wommy, Broodmother. I'm assuming that it's going to be the position 1 gyrocopter and then a 4 Faceless Void. So do you want to do a 1 Faceless Void now? Because in the one game that they played Faceless Void as a carry, they lost that one. In both of the games that they played it as a position 4, they won. So are they just going to be influenced a little bit too much by that? Is this a position 5 Viper as well that you're going up against, which makes a pause for Faceless Void's life pretty damn miserable? A lot of ifs, buts, and maybes coming through, but Army Geniuses, they're going to be the one with the last pick overall, so they're going to be able to shape up the lanes how they best see fit. It's a Monkey King coming through. So again, just if you're going this dual melee lane, this is probably one of the better options, and it's a nice way to be able to clear out some of these creep waves too.
Yep.
He's very happy, kind of living up to his name with that little chuckle there.
10 seconds remaining.
Like, why would you not be happy with the draft like this? Looks, you mentioned the Viper Monkey King to be able to lean into the Broodmother Faceless Void. Feels like that's going to be a strong advantage for Xerxia, but the Weaver definitely makes this a little bit more difficult now to call. It will be a DB Weaver as well. So we're going to have a Gyro and a Faceless Void as their support duo on Army Geniuses.
Let's go. I mean, you knew this was coming, man. You knew, like, if you didn't come into this series thinking we weren't going to see some jank come out from these supports, you haven't been watching SEA Dota, so this is really interesting to see how it's all going to pan out for them. I'm a little bit worried about the dual melee into the well, it's actually a Monkey King 5 coming through from Teehee here, paired together with a position 1 Nature's Prophet. So how's that going to work?
I don't particularly like that. I really was a big fan of the Monkey Viper lane.
Me too. Especially considering, like, yeah, dual melee, you want those 2 heroes into that, right? Like, it's just so dominant. Guess into the Faceless Void, the Nature's Prophet still feels pretty good, but I feel like you've given up a big opportunity as well.
Yeah, because they've got a lot of heroes on Army Geniuses that can get on top of Ken. Like, in a game like this is a very, very difficult core Nature's Prophet game to be playing in particular position 1 Nature's Prophet, where you are the right-clicking hero. Like, you're not building those aura items, Wraith Pack, to be able to help sustain and group up as a team. So he's the one dealing a lot of the physical damage in these fights. In Army Geniuses, you can send the Broodmother summons at him, Ember can Remnant on top, you even got the pressure of, like, Naaman just dropping and Chrono on your head. So I'm a bit concerned. Like, obviously this lane, it should go pretty well. The Earthshaker with the Viper against the Weaver, I feel like that's going to be a fine lane, but I just felt like they needed to body the Broodmother, and without playing the monkeys a 1, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's certainly going to be pretty interesting. I mean, maybe it's going to be playing around having a little bit more levels by playing in more. You got more going to try and address the Broodmother a little bit. Like try and lock him down with your okay amount of stuns that you've got coming through, and then if you can't get the insatiable hunger off because you're in a sprout, then your survivability isn't as good. Trying to theorize a little bit here, but and I actually haven't cast a Broodmother game since they buffed up the minimum movement speed bonus as well. So I want to see how much that actually influences.
Yeah, same actually. I didn't even remember the changes from Broodmother because we haven't had the opportunity to cast her at all. What does it look like? Up to his shenanigans running mid, is he? He's just kind of maybe get into the minds of Xerxia.
I mean, you see the bottle being queued up by the Ember Spirits, so you'd assume that he's still going to be mid. The thing is, you just can't really go the Flame Guard into this Invoker now, right? He's just going to dispel it off every single time with the Tornado, so it's going to be much more of the right-click build. Not that you hate that, right? You still need to deal with, especially as a position 1 Nature's Prophet, the Treants, who are going to be rampaging a little bit more often, as well as it's just going to be some extra damage inside of that Chronosphere too, just with the slight spam from the outside.
See how this one's able to shape up. Will be a 2 for 2 in regards to the bounties. Nothing crazy going on, it looks like, with the lane shenanigans as well. Everything comfortable from either side. Either intrigued to see how this faces Void's able to at least how Army Geniuses can execute it, because I know you said that they've picked it up multiple times and had success on it. I didn't have the opportunity to get to see these games, so, and again, we were kind of speaking about it in the pre-game, like Naaman is that person to always look out for. He's really the one that can bring teams to the forefront and take the game, so I'm excited to see what he can do with the Void.
I have faith in Naaman. You know, no matter what he does, he always seems like he's able to some success coming through. Getting a little bit of harass here is Varese, making sure to keep that camp blocked up. So nice scout out of the Sentry Ward. His job a little bit more challenging as he tries to go for the body block, and he'll be successful on this bottom side of the map. But yeah, it's all about just trying to get some of that early pressure into Rapido, specifically at level 2. They just want to make sure that the lane's in a good spot. As soon as you got that rocket barrage and probably the swarm, it's going to look to go in and quickly burst down Rapido before he gets too out of control.
Is this an easy lane though for DB? Because I feel like he might struggle if they've got Sentry control. As soon as he pops Sakuchi, and if Lucifer's in a good position with the fissure, you land the stun, then Rapido can start to stack up the poison attack, and DB could be in trouble then.
He's going to have full Sentry control though. I think it's mainly just going to be around this camp, right? They want to make sure they can influence it to pull it back towards them as much as possible. Missing out on the homing missile there from Varese, ended up getting killed. Vito as well as Lucifer. But yeah, I don't think they can actually afford to just put them in the lane. It's going to set the Earthshaker back too far. Like, he's already had to buy 3 Sentry Wards just to try and keep this camp available to them. And, well, it's obviously not going to be for the next little bit of time.
Look at how our top lane's shaping up. Some shenanigans there. Naaman just looking to drag the wave under the tower. Wami at the moment doesn't feel comfortable with playing the lane. And this is kind of to be expected though with the Broodmother. Like, this is a hero that definitely has fallen off with the prowess in the laning stage. But as soon as you get that level 6, then you're online, and it's very difficult for anyone else to be able to deal with. So it'll be interesting to see how they can get him to that stage. A little bit of damage onto T here for the moment.
No real amazing slows just that yet though, right? You've got the Silken Bowler, but no Orb of Venom, slow coming from the time dilation, but all this pressure, even though the farming under the tower on Ken does mean you're able to get a pull off here from the Faceless Void, so Naaman's going to be very happy with that, push things back towards you. Probably around that level 3 timing is when they can look to get a lot more aggressive on Army Geniuses, perhaps go for a kill onto this Monkey King.
This mid lane, Azura Off to a pretty good start, 16-6 compared to the 10 last hits on JG. It is a matchup that people like picking the Invoker into. You've got a way to be able to purge off the Flame Guard. We see Zero is just going down a different route. He's like, all right, I'll just max out Sight, go for the early Blightstone, see how fast that Corrosion's able to come out. But Zero should definitely be okay in this matchup. I do think, though, as the game goes on, until he gets BKB, it can be difficult to deal with the Invoker.
Tornado there a little bit aggressively, still 25 seconds away, so if you want to go for a Flame Guard play like he does, might be able to get some success through from that. Of course, the Flame Guard now doesn't completely stop the damage coming through, so Cold Snap is still going to be quite effective against it. Zura actually being bullied away from the lane by both of these supports. Is he going to go for the slight refill play? No. Accomplish it. Important just to make sure that your mana reserves are still somewhat decent for the laning stage. Third point into the Sleight of Fist now, and trying to take advantage of out-sustaining an Invoker, a Quaswex Invoker in lane, which is pretty damn challenging.
You will have that level 6 at least coming up shortly for Azura, but it's probably going to be 2 waves until he gets it, so I have some issues. JG, this is going to give him an opportunity at least to be able to continue harassing, bringing that use in bottom lane. Lucifer is in a bit of trouble for the moment. He's able to get back to the T2 tower. Peter's the one that's in trouble. Look at the damage racking up at Lucifer. Turns it around, stands his ground, and slams away the life of the Weaver.
And up onto him. This is what I was talking about. I really wanted him to put a point into the Swarm because you're very immobile heroes with the Earthshaker and the Viper early on, and you're forced to be right-clicking a creep. That's just a couple of extra hits that you're getting through with the Weaver. You don't really need the Geminate attack if you're looking to go for that first blood, which I feel if you go on this position 5 Gyro, you got to be getting kills out of the lane. Not really that traditional 5 by any means.
I 100% agree. Like, he's the person in the predictions I put for him to have the most magic or pure damage at 10 minutes. Because I thought, like, this is a hero that just needs to be getting incredibly aggressive with the early points in the Rocket Barrage and the homing missile.
Feels a little bit like the Crystal Maiden, doesn't it? Where, like, if you just don't have that early game impact, you're just going to fall off massively. And don't know exactly how much money he's spent on Mango so far, but he's got 3 in the inventory and not much else. So he's really kind of between a rock and a hard place at the moment, with wanting to go for kills but not having the resources and the allied skill build to do so.
The river, JG, in a little bit of trouble here. Naman was able to snag the haste out of the face of the Invoker, but it looks like they'll be okay. Meanwhile, top lane as well. A lot of damage has been put on the tower. Xerxia have done a very good job to keep the catapult still alive, and they will have a resummon shortly for Treants. They're going to get this T1 tower, I think.
It's going to come and try and stop it as much as possible. Time dilation off there, but
wow,
able to do too much about stopping this, and yeah. No real way to be able to stop this tower from falling. Still very single target on the Broodmother. Even with the spawned Spiderlings, right? It feel all that great. Maybe you can burst down a creep, but a lot much more of an open map, and even potentially the ability to go into the triangle when it starts to get stacked up a little bit more for either the Ember or the Weaver once you get into the Maelstroms there.
I'm very impressed though with Xerxia and how they've been able to body the Broodmother in the lane. Like, Ken top of the net worth 3,400 compared to the Brood 2,500. So we kind of mentioned it when the lane was going on, the fact that Brood needs level 6, but really big props to Xerxia recognizing this and getting very, very aggressive. And now Ken, he's already got the Javelin working on the Maelstrom as his next item. Once he completes his farm will just skyrocket.
The thing is, like, we did have a little bit of an issue. Sorry, mid lane, JG's getting dived a little bit, but hasn't used any spells yet, so that time dilation is going to be pretty damn useless. In his previous time picking the Faceless Void, I don't think he leveled up the time lock until like level 8 or something like that. He was just putting everything into the time walk and the time dilation up until that stage. But with these heroes that you're coming up against, they're really not these frequent spell users, you know? They're not spirits, they're not Puck, they're not some of these other, like CK in the lane even, to use a lot of his spells to try and get some kills. But Nature's Prophet, not really. All you're really using is the Nature's Call and right-clicking.
The Earthshaker's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but look at Ken TPing in to try and provide the +1. They've used a lot of their spells for the moment. The Varish is going to have another round of the Rocket Barrage. They'll kill off the Earthshaker. And also Azura, he's able to secure at least the Arcane Rune. So really nice movements coming up from Army Geniuses. Not only do they get their first kill of the game, but they also refill the bottle for the Ember Spirit.
Want to spend too much time away from this top side as well. Got Wami, obviously lost his tier 1 tower, but he's going to be pushing in this one on the top side. You can see just with the skill build from the Monkey King, you might think Tree Dance is a really good way to be able to, or trying to hunt him down and cut down the trees, but...
Repeater's in some trouble. Azura, another rotation. Down to the Viper this time. Instead of the supports moving mid, Azura with the Arcane Rune was able to help out. That's a big kill because Repeater is just edging out a slight victory into DB's lane, and now this will give DB a couple of free moments down bot.
Power of those Arcane Rune, right? He's just able to rotate so much more easily, make a big impact in multiple lanes, and then suddenly what was looking quite bad for Army Geniuses, at least 2 of the lanes, is now out completely.
So what can
what I was saying before, I'm expecting T here to go pretty much the build that he is right now, right? You needed, with those double melee, you want to have at least a point in the Jingu Mastery to be able to get that bonus damage through. And Boundless Strike, you need physical damage to be able to deal with this Broodmother and all the Spiderlings. They've got pretty good magic resistance.
Bottom lane, Ken. He's going to look to try and TP down. Cautious with the burst damage coming through from the Wrath of Nature. Look at the fissure blocked off perfectly as Ken just slips into the tree line. DB's going to be killed off, and now Xerxia should be able to use this onto the tower. Mid lane though, JG. What a rotation out of Wami. From top to mid he goes, wrapping on the Invoker with the help of Army Geniuses as well. They could surround JG and now look to put some pressure on and, well, in fact, get the kill onto the tier 1 tower.
This is what I really like about the way Wami was playing. You know, a lot of Broodmothers that are a bit less experienced would have just stayed in the lane and looked to try and dominate that way. But look at what you're going up against. These are heroes like the Monkey King, like the Viper, like the Invoker even, that want to be staying in the lane to be able to have a big amount of impact.
Azura's got the haste. They're going to look to chase them down. Finds the double chains. Look at Lucify's position though. Pump faking the fissure. The threat of the dive. Something that Army Geniuses have to be cautious of.
Got the stun
control. Azura's going to go for it. Ooh, not going to have the damage though. Nice fissure timing. We'll be able to TP out of the Nature's Prophet.
Would have gone for the Searing Chains, but just wanted to guarantee it, and unfortunately Lucify was in a really solid position there. He's got the Tome in his backpack, so he doesn't actually have enough for the Echo Slam. What did that cost him?
Oh, he went in. Oh, no. Azura, he doesn't have a TP. He's stuck here. They see him. They'll see him now.
Oh, now they do.
Out. There's no one here. No one at all to help the Ember Spirit in between the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower. Xerxia. Tension down, bringing Invoker just to make sure they're able to secure the kill.
You know, even Grandmasters can make mistakes every now and then, and you know, there's a big reason behind it. So what I was saying before with the Broodmother, now that we've got a little bit more time to relax and chill, is when you're going up against these heroes that want to stay in the lane, you probably don't want to be in the lane, right? So he takes the tier 1 tower, he goes into the jungle, allows him to connect onto mid, you get the kill. Like, I just like the way that he's able to adapt his gameplay to the situation. That's the sign of a good player.
What can we expect out of Xerxia? How are they going to be able to address this Broodmother? Because this is someone who can just look to completely take control of the top jungle. So is there heroes or items in particular they need to pick up to kind of deal with the Brood? I'll hold that thought real quick, because mid lane we do have a smoke and Narman threading with the Chronosphere. Nice fissure. Controls the face its way, so there's no threat of the turnaround, but Azura's going to look to jump in. The Ember Spirit, they're not going to have the stun lock to be able to deal with Azura. He can ram them out, targeting down Ken. They're lacking the stun to deal with the Nature's Prophet, so instead, they'll chase down the Earthshaker in the river.
A lot committed just for a couple of supports. You know, I know it's a gyro and a faceless for you. You can't let them get out of control because inherently their cores, they're going to scale quite well as we get to the later stages. Maybe not so much the gyro. Have a look at the net worth. Not looking that great at all. But yeah, you end up getting a support and a core in response to that. As for your previous question of how are they going to be able to deal with this Broodmother, I think what Ken's got queued up is the answer. He's gone the Glypnir. So you just need something that's going to provide a little bit of that extra control, not only just for the damage that it does on use as well as the Maelstrom passive, but even just things like holding things in place to be able to get massive use out of the Boundless Strike. You've got the Orb of Corrosion, and it looks like he's going into a Deso next on T here with the Blightstone pickup.
I think now with kind of the point I'll hold that mid lane, Corona well. To JG, Lucifer is nearby to help offset this, but they make sure they're not grouping up for a multi-man fissure. Army Geniuses, they might lose Numb, and the Time Walk's back up, and meanwhile the Spiderlings are just bringing down Rapido. The slide's on cooldown for the moment, but it will not matter as Wommy with the spawn Spiderling secures the kill. And now they've got the root as well to the Nature's Prophet. Look how they're playing this team fight. Just range and distance, that's the main thing now for Army Geniuses, and now they can jump in. They know that multiple members are down on Xerxia, and as soon as they see they're opening a remnant in forward from Azura to get on top of the Earthshaker.
Just saw T1 play with Thompson and Anna and their unorthodox heroes, but Army Geniuses, they're trying to do it one better. Just really understanding the limits of their heroes. Obviously, with the maxed out Time Walk on the Faceless Void, you can play this baiting style, and with every one of these team fight victories, just gets these, again, inherent cores closer to one of these items that are actually going to be a lot more significant as the game gets later on. You know, only the 1 point in the time dilation now, but by the time he's got the mana, the money for the Aghanim Shard, and he'll probably be level 9, 3 points time dilation. It's a significant amount of damage once you're trying to force out these team fights.
Army Geniuses, they can continue to play aggressive. They got a great Observe Ward on the cliff line, and look at the damage they're doing to Rapido. The missile, it's enough. Oh no, another death for the offlane Viper. This cliff ward down to the triangle is just giving them so much information. I love how Army Geniuses are playing this. They have recognized that we can't kind of run into the middle of the fights, into the Viper. We can't face check this hero, nor the Nature's Prophet as well. Like, he doesn't have the greatest attack range or mobility. So in team fights, we just need to play our distance. You know, spam Slight, spam the spawn Spiderlings, let even the Spiders just run in as well, because Dire, they don't really have the capability to kill them. So it's a great read from AG so far. And now Azura.
Use of the Remnant.
Cuts down the Monkey King's tree. Ken's gonna look to TP out. He won't be able to make it, but Tihi's in trouble. Monkey King, but across the map, we do see those Xerxia get the kill onto Nam, and so both supports going down. Meanwhile, once again, though, Wommy, he finds a solo kill, looks like, under the tower onto Rapido's Viper. That's another death in a row. He just TP'd back out to the lane.
He did, and I have to wonder if this is the right choice going into the Orchid. Like, it makes sense considering what you're up against. You know, the Ember Spirit, the Faceless Void, the Weaver, 3 heroes that you want to be able to lock down, just so that you've got the burst to be able to take him out. But I feel like they're just going to be prioritizing him as the #1 priority. Because every single time, like, Orchid gives you 0 stats to enable your survivability versus something like that BKB that he's got queued up afterwards, or even just something simple like a Dragonlance, which is pretty damn cool for a Viper. With this Observer Ward, they're going to be seeing where exactly Wommy's farming, and with that, Rapido playing a much more towards the right-hand side of this lane, but it's like, what is he actually farming? He's nearly fallen behind his position 5 Monkey King in net worth.
Now, with all the map control that Army Geniuses have in this net worth lead, they can look to move their attention over to Roche. And looks should be pretty easy for them to find. The Wraith Pact already completed onto Wommy. The first Roche of the game's going to be claimed at 18 minutes in. What can we expect out of Army Geniuses? Is there the potential for them to take multiple tier 2 towers, or is this more of a farming Aegis?
I don't really think it's a farming Aegis. I think they're probably just going to wait maybe 2 minutes or so, get into the BKB on Azura, get some of these Tier 2 neutral items, get the pipe for Wommy, pretty close to the Vladimir's offering as well for Faceless Void. So it really is just this ball up and go style that they're going to have active pretty soon.
JG's been hanging around bottom for quite some time trying to find these pickoffs, but Army Geniuses are not giving him that opportunity. Does have Lucifer nearby as well, working on the Blink Dagger. We saw yesterday 3 games play hard. It was on the Earthshaker. All 3 games he went that Ag Shard first item as well. So a little bit of a difference here with Lucifer's item build. We'll see maybe if that's going to prove to be an issue. I mean, what JG does get the connection. So the Tornado into the meatball combo, but oh no, man, look at that. The Chronosphere onto 2. Azura's got a double damage rate to work with as well. They line up for the Echo Slam, but there's just no damage follow-up. JG doesn't have the levels to combat this. Now, meanwhile, mid lane, though, they have left Wommy on an island. So Xerxia, they're going to be able to address the Broodmother finally. Tiki even wants to drop the ultimate for the extra damage, but they won't even kill him. Just TP out, and Wommy will make it out to safety.
Ken is in a little bit of trouble as well. Didn't get connected onto by the Swarm, but going down here. Still haven't used the Time Walk. And oh, there we go. Sorry, Time Lapse. Getting out there from DB. Able to escape. They're just running over them. They've won the lanes. They set themselves up really well. Might have been not so great to be able to lose your tier 1 tower top, but ever since then, it's been all Army geniuses. It's just going to look to continue. Like I was saying before, getting into some of those bigger timings. Actually go on the 4-staff instead on Naaman rather than finishing up the Vlads. I like it. Maybe they just saw the Gleipnir being finished up and realizing that as long as we're not locked completely into position, we're fine.
They see JG farming with this freshly placed Observer Ward. Breeze will start. Nice slide dodge from Azura! And now he's got a BKB to dive under the tower. No cares in the world, as there will be no answer to the Ember. Azura playing an exceptional game, and this is what we've come to expect from him, though. His Ember Spirit, one of the best around in Southeast Asia.
Honestly, all of his spirits, right? We've seen times where he, on a Storm Spirit, was actually feeding Quaps in lane, which is pretty much unheard of. So, it's great to see someone like this get the kudos that he deserves. It's kind of selling them a bit short, but if Army geniuses are able to win this, and if they get knocked out at the next stage, top 6 is a very admirable result, considering how the year's been going for them, and the fact that this wasn't even their first choice roster to be able to go into these qualifiers. Specialist Array is going to be a nice little ramp up in damage, though. Xerxia giving it over to Ken. All of that extra pure damage, a little bit of extra stats as well, and just the damage output from those multiple extra hits.
Yeah, what can Xerxia do with this Nature's Prophet? Because, again, Ken, he had an incredible lane, beating the Broodmother, but now he's fallen a little bit behind in net worth. Still is around there at the top, but what can Xerxia do with this farm Nature's Prophet?
It's a really good question, right? Because he is the one that's going to be able to deal with this Broodmother that's just taking all of your towers, but you need to be... You're the only one that can effectively be playing on the enemy's side of the map and pushing out these lanes so that they can't just death ball down lanes like they're doing with this Aegis. They're just trying to get a bunch of super easy kills, and Teehee, he's going into the BKB. Yeah, like... I really don't like the fact that he's still holding on to all of this money and not going for a value item that's useful
down bottom
because
DB just gets a solo kill, man. Like they dived under the T4 tower, killing off the Viper, and the DB solo kills the Invoker down bottom. Like it's just crumbling here for Xerxia.
Azura just dies on purpose. Wanted to make sure that the Aegis popped off when he wasn't in a super vulnerable position. Only had about 45 seconds left on it. But yeah, I understand being a little bit down now to make sure that you're successful later, but there's not going to be a later if you don't have someone that's able to respond to this. Like I was saying before, Nature's Prophet wants to be on the other side of the map. Earthshaker does have the Blink Dagger, so this smoke, seconds left on it, but they've got what they wanted. They're happy enough to back up. And that's the call from Naaman. Get back, he says. Smoke is about to respawn, as they haven't seen the Shaker in quite some time. They've already gotten that tier 3 tower, so they can feel pretty satisfied with themselves.
This is all going to come down to just a combo out from Lucifer in the fights. Maybe with the meatball damage as well from the Invoker. He's only got 4 points in the X-Sword at the moment, so...
If that courier dies,
he's in trouble. They're just going to drop the Chrono. Naaman! They don't have a care in the world because Breeze is to the north. They can drop the call down and Wommy's playing the distance. To bring the Nature's Prophet down low. Ibu can easily step in under the T2 tower. And now they're even going to go for Rapido. He ventures outside the base and Azura will make sure next life he'll stick back behind the safety of the high ground.
And they could just take all of their outer towers now on Army Geniuses. Like, you can go mid, of course, if you want to, but if you're going to use a glyph to try and slow down this push now, you've already lost a tier 3 tower. There's no more refreshes coming beyond that. So Wami's just going to continue to place himself down here at bot lane. They're going to path up to top. They're going to be maybe waiting to play around the second Roshan and then end the game off of the back of that. Sunstrikes just for a single range creep. How desperate they are for any farm. At least you've got the BKB now on JG. Perhaps respond to all these slows, the roots, the lockdown coming through from Army Geniuses.
Oh no!
The force!
Holy that would have been what a play that would have been.
I wonder if he could have force-staffed his missile instead. You know you could do that.
Yeah, Azura? He's under the observer ward. Lucified with the Echo Slam, the chain control for the Boundless Strike.
Alright.
Get the kill. And now with a Weaver silence as well for the moment. But she's pretty tanky. Is not going to be tanky enough. Xerxia sense an opportunity for them to be able to invade back into their jungle. And they get 2 gigantic kills.
For sure. Finally getting value out of that Blink Dagger. This is the big weakness for the Earthshaker that I was talking about. He had basically provided nothing up until that stage of the game, and it's still the case where for the next 2 minutes, he's not really going to be providing anything again. You know, these respawn timers, 24, 25 minutes into the game, they're still short enough that you could just group back up again and go. Like, what did you really expend for that? Not much. Call down for a kill at the bot side. That's about it.
Ken is farming under the observer ward. Wami's instantly moving down. They're going to TP to the outpost as well, but Ken wisely enough be able to evade this gank. But again, now as soon as they know the Nature's Prophets TP'd back away, Army Genius is going to look to reclaim the map control and kind of funnel Xerxia into only one location on the map.
Spinner's Snare as well on Wami, so gonna look to block off all these different pathways into the triangle. So where can you farm now? There's basically nowhere safe to be, and most of the time when you're on this really aggressive path, you're gonna be putting aggressive wards down, right? Because that's where your JG playing up on the top side, see if he's gonna fall down to DB again. Probably not. That's because that's where you're wanting to be playing, right? You want to be catching out people who farm in quote-unquote safe areas, but against a Nature's Prophet, it makes sense to be warding up your own triangle, your own jungle, because that is the only safe place that remains now.
Top lane, Xerxia, they're going to be cautious. It has to be a quick kill and they've got to get out. Because Army Geniuses, they're wrapping on top. They should be able to blow up the wave of the sunshine. To get the time lapse off, and now DB's okay. Because the rest of Army Geniuses, they've shown up. Narman lands the Chronosphere onto 2. It does clip onto Azure, but as soon as it expires, they'll be able to chase down the Invoker into the tree line. And the rest of Army Geniuses will clean up the remaining components in this top lane. As what a great read for the lads on Radiant. Just dangling the Weaver's life inside the lane. They connected fast enough, the force staff to allow him to get the time lapse off, and then we're there to take the fight.
Just had a bit more tanky items in his inventory as well there. Obviously finishing up the Hurricane Pike gives him that little bit of extra HP from that. I think he switched up his neutral items as well, previously holding onto the Dagger of Restore. Now he had the Ring of Aquila for all that extra armor, that tiny bit of extra HP. That was the difference. Like, he barely got out of that one alive, and it's all on the back of these micro decisions. Go for him again. No, completely scouted out by Narman. Therese is just going in.
The double boundless will give them some distance to be able to retreat. Fissure as well, covering, but it's not enough. Rapido chased down. Meanwhile, DB gets a kill onto Teehee. Both supports killed off. It's up to the cause now to defend the base.
Glowing mass of spiders just coming at them with the Piper on. Not quite there anymore, but this is... What do you look to use the glyph onto? It might need to be this wave. Complete understanding of exactly where Ken is. Have anywhere near enough to be able to get into that AC, but at least he's got the Hyperstone. A little bit of extra damage perhaps for the next team fight. But again, is there going to be another team fight?
He's
in the
I don't know
snare.
if you can
They
run
see
like
him.
this. Oh boy. I understand. He's trying to do whatever he can to stall it out. Invoker, one of the better high ground defenders, but they have again the capability for Army Geniuses just to play range. If Invoker just oversteps the mark for 1 second, they will instantly stun him and force a BKB like we just saw.
Tower is under attack.
So yeah, Glyph used, BKB used, map control, it's yours. You know that the Nature's Prophet isn't scaling, Roshan's up, everything just... They've got the read on Army Geniuses, exactly how they want to play this game.
And they also know exactly where Xerxia are as well. The Earthshaker ran inside the spinner snare. They got the ping on side the map.
Look to pop the smoke as well with the reverse time walk if you want.
They're onto Varese. They should have stopped. The gyrocopter will be brought down. Azura's going to be able to remnant over the fissure block. Trying to target down JG for the moment. The Invoker without the BKB. So Azura recognize this is free pickings for him to be able to secure the kill. Now inside the river. Azura's not done. A remnant onto 2. Both supports are gone. And off to the left side, Ken is trying to get a kill on Narman. It's just a support faces Zoid. And they won't even kill off Narman. And they call it.
That's a GG. Yeah, it's... well, just got completely outplayed on Xerxia this game. And yeah, pre-30 minutes. Not too often that we see a few of those games come through, but they just crush the lanes. I don't know how better to...
I've got.
They just need a couple of kills to be TI5 champions. Fear, fully wicked sick. They're going to bring in the Titanic as well for Fear while the push continues.
Clinton has like a huge amount of experience, and I think he puts really good use to it. Whenever people ask me, like, is there any player you look up to? I mean, for sure, the way he played a core role for EG, that's a way I can only hope to play.
It looked rough dropping down the lower bracket. They have persevered. And they will claim the Aegis of the Immortal. They are the champions here in front of their home crowd.
Right after we won and we're holding the trophy up in front of the crowd, everyone was cheering. We're on like home soil as well, so like it was just insane. Everyone was yelling USA, USA. We just sat there and just like took it all in. Didn't really have much to say. We were just kind of like enjoying the feeling.
Give it up for your TI5 champions, Evil Geniuses!
I mean, at the current state in time, it means a lot, but 10 years from now, will people remember me? Probably not, to be honest with you. But the fact that in this moment that I dedicated so much of my life to be a champion, it means a lot to me, so I'll never forget it.
Point to the upper bracket semifinals. Tong Fu taking on the fan favorite Na'Vi.
When we picked Baijian Chen, we were sure we were going to crush the game early on.
Navi's trying. No, they pick it. They took the punch. You can see Dendy smiling right now.
Oh, yes.
He wanted it bad, and Puppy gave it to him.
Yeah, for some reasons. That game, it didn't work out.
Vacuum back into the call down. Dindy biting up more than he can chew. He will be cleaned up. Now Puppy caught out in the middle of the fight.
We were getting stronger and stronger.
In this point of the game, there is nothing else in the whole game that can change anything.
And Tong Fu is beginning to grind Na'Vi down. They got a 5-kill lead, right around 5,000 gold to their advantage.
This is really troublesome for Na'Vi.
The game was on the edge, and we could lose it like any moment. I was sure about that. We knew we needed to do something, so we started to try something out.
Tong Fu is going to continue to push. They're not done. Mech still hasn't even been used. There's a hook. Howell brought all the way back to the base. Cleaned up by the Fountain.
但是突然被勾的时候，其实一开始，因为那局我们优势很大嘛，一开始会觉得也没什么，下次注意一点就行了。
Dandy said, "This is the only way we can win the game." Us too, just doing that stupid stuff. I was like, "All right, let's go."
Dandy's gonna try it again. Can he? Got him that time. See you in the base move.
Whenever I saw enemy around, I would ask, Papi, TP me. He would TP me and I would try hooking.
Oh, there we go. The hook. Got him.
Fountain hook, fountain hook, fountain hook. It would continue. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Just keep it up.
然后结果他不停的勾，就感觉怎么说呢？就感觉很神奇吧。
Tongfu didn't know what to do. Like they actually screwed up quite a lot.
It's hard to stay calm. Mentally, you're panicking. Apocalypse is happening in your head.
He just goes to Tongfu.
Gyrocopter, Xerxia, siege high ground, you know. Everybody knows the simple road to victory. The game should be done as simple, but he just got removed.
Oh, he got him! He got him! They're on their feet, they're chatting! All it took was one fountain hook.
Howell playing Gyrocopter could have simply just TP'd after the hook. He could have just TP'd back home.
然后最后就是被勾回去了，2条命死了，然后就导致最后的一个比赛输掉嘛，就非常的遗憾。
The fact of the matter is, like a player that was on point probably would have still won that game as Gyrocopter. Probably should have never gotten hooked. Probably. But DOTA is a lot like life, you know? Shit happens, you have to deal with it.
Hooking Tongfu players with Chen teleport was one of the most amazing things that I've done. It was vicious, and I was part of it.
I was very angry watching the game. It's not really so much against Navi as against the rules.
A lot of people were saying it's very unfair or wrong. We came into the player lounge and I saw Loda screaming.
Remove that from the game. That was the biggest joke I've ever seen. The biggest fucking joke I've ever seen.
There's these rules about bug abuse, but what is bug abuse and what is not. I'm still a bit salty about it, I think.
Like, how can you win? How can you even be allowed to win that way? Tongfu had that game. Is that balanced? You hook a guy with Aegis? It should be. Oh my fucking god.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Disqualification.
Yeah, he was definitely like, "You guys don't deserve it" or something like that. And they're like, "Whatever, dude."
Let them try this thing. They can do it. Go on, try this thing.
You have to respect the skill that it took for those fountain hooks to happen. If it was completely broken and super easy to do, everyone would be doing it. They weren't afraid to try it or make it happen.
I was sure the game was fair, even after like I heard those screamings.
因为在我们那个中国人眼里，就是觉得输了就是输了，就是不会说因为他全水沟是一个可能相对来说比较不太平衡的一个东西吧，然后会去埋怨什么东西。我们就觉得输了就是我们自己技不如人吧，包括国内的也都会觉得对方会觉得对方打得厉害，不会说因为这个东西太 bug 了或者怎么着。
这也是下一年赢得 TI 的一个原因吧，但是当时我没有找他们讨论过这个问题吧，我怕提起他们的伤心事，他们打我。
Some exploits are fun and good. This was one of them. Maybe a bit too strong, but still.
It was too strong.
就之后削掉的倒是就是没什么了嘛。
You can discredit the game, but in reality, like, DOTA is still the same. You can still win games in the most weird ways that haven't been seen or done.
It's the same for everyone, so it's fair for everyone, and it's just kind of a part of the way DOTA tournaments go.
She's very active, smiley, happy, all the time energized. You think, wow, where does she get all this energy?
this
Casey.
因为他是一个应该是主食吧。
Casey is, I mean, she's what do you call it? A hostess?
My job at TI is to make the players look good. I want to know how they're feeling in the moment and allow the audience to get to know them in perhaps a way they haven't yet.
How are you feeling about the tournament so far? What has been the highlight for you?
Having a diarrhea every single day.
What was that?
Having a diarrhea every single day.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds lovely. I'm going to send it back to James. Thank you again.
Ice. He's just really good at making situations awkward.
You didn't mean diarrhea, you mean diary, like you wrote your diary this morning and they're like, nope, diarrhea.
Oh, God. Folks, I heard him right.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew it made me feel uncomfortable. And I respect him for that.
She was really good at taking the awkwardness and making it really funny.
We rolling? How about now? We rolling?
When you're first talking to them, players take a little bit of time to warm up to you. And then you ask them to scream, you expect them to go,
1, 2, 3. You win.
I was sent to the Players Lounge to interview Ice. And keep in mind, I don't know anything about the game. I haven't been watching it. I don't recognize the professional players.
So you're going to be playing tonight in the one-on-one championship, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Are you Ice?
No.
What's your name?
I'm not.
Are you Michael?
No, they're trolling you.
This entire room is going.
Hi. How's it going? That's right.
I immediately went back to when I was in middle school and everybody was laughing at me for something. I have no idea what it was.
There's something going on here that I'm not aware of.
One of the hardest interviews to do is if you're talking to someone who does not want to speak to you. Is it that they are nervous? Or is it that they just don't want to frickin' talk to me right now?
He's like, yes, please move on. All right, duly noted. I'm gonna stand up and move. There's so much trolling, I don't even know how to navigate this.
I don't mind looking stupid, I don't mind looking silly, I don't mind looking bad, but I never want to make someone that I interview look bad.
Casey is doing great. She's doing great for the scene. When she comes to TI, she interacts with these crazy-ass fans.
I think she does a good job understanding people and getting people to open up a little bit.
I want to get trolled by Ice.
I've been trolled by Ice. He's really good at it. My job is to also give a voice to the fans and give them an opportunity to come together as a community and connect with the players. You can't be afraid to not look polished. I'm anti-polish. Be yourself, be in the moment, show how you're feeling. If I had a time machine, I would go back to 10-year-old me and I would start playing Dota 2. And I would be here as a player and I would be going for $18 million. And y'all be interviewing me and you'd ask me questions and I'd say, I don't know, I have diarrhea.
I think I've seen that clip at least 100 times. It's legendary.
The whole venue was just echoing. It was just, really easy to root for, our, fellow countrymen.
That was a great part of Dota history, the meme-making game, Liquid versus LGD.
Best of one, loser eliminated, winner in the top 8. The draft complete, the players now selecting their heroes. And here we go.
Team USA is having the home crowd behind them.
I think going into that match, I don't think Liquid really, liked their odds very much. They were just gonna leave it all out on the field and, it was enough. LGD was, a top dog of that tournament and, they were, predicted to win.
And it's gonna be a Bulba clockwork, making a comeback here. Bulba still doing pretty well mid. I actually would say it's very even.
I remember Bulba. He was really performing on his clockwork, making some insane plays.
Against LGD China. Could there be a turnaround?
It was my first ever tournament. This was a big moment for me because I wanted to prove myself. This game was everything for us.
They need a hook. Boba finds one. That's going to be on Xiaowei.
And I was getting all these kills with clockwork. I just killed Xiaowei when he was pushing with Furion. And then finally there was a big team fight in their base and I
had a really good hook on like 2 people. At that point, I couldn't really hold it anymore. I just started like getting up in my seat even though the game wasn't over. And now I'll look back and say, wow, what was I doing?
I used to have a soundboard, and my #1 most clicked one was the LD part when Liquid, they won. I think it goes like this. Siler to fall, Liquid are doing it.
Siler to fall, Liquid are doing it!
And Baba is on his feet. I believe that's how it goes, but it's so epic.
You know, everyone loves an underdog, and being able to cheer for the home crowd favorite and getting behind them and all these personalities on the team, especially Sam, like it's an easy personality to cheer for. He's just a kid who wants to do well at his first big tournament and take it home to his family and his parents. And I imagine he was just totally overwhelmed and full of energy and excitement, and soaking in the crowd was his way of releasing that emotion.
I think the fans loved it, The crowd was going pretty crazy because it was the first time an American team had ever done anything, so that was pretty cool. Before that, the American scene was very, very bad.
North American Dota. Yeah,
power rune.
That's an aggressive blink. It's going to be a stun follow-up, but there won't be anything else nearby. Do a good job to be able to secure the rune. It is an illusion, nothing crazy to be able to dispel off this game.
This is a good, what, 7 or so minutes it feels like, where Alchemist just hasn't been the main target.
Very close to getting the arrow onto Wami. And they're going to still stick around to try and get the kill. Solar Guardian's coming up, but Wami can dodge this, and now maybe Xerxia have overplayed their hands, because Radiant with the sustain and next to the tier 1 tower, they can set up the formation and try and charge down the members of Dire. But Ken is going to look to enter the fight off the back of the BKB. He gets a double concoction as well, landing onto both support. The arrow will slide on forward, starting up Narman and Xerxia. There's the BKB for Ken, charges into the middle. And what a team fight once again for Dire. The momentum is building here, Danog.
It is for sure. It's, I haven't been commenting on it previously, but that's 3 times where I feel like with the Chen heal, considering now it does that burst component and the heal over time, it's just come a little bit too late. You know, DB's been the one falling down. Look at his mana. Sure, he used the Bloodstone for it, but he was finishing that fight on basically full mana. So that is definitely not what you want whenever you're playing with this Leshrac. You want to make sure that you're expending every little bit of your resources. If we get a moment to look at this replay, just look at all of the buffs that they've got as well on the Radiant side if their heroes are clicked on. Like, it was completely stacked up. Yeah, look at that. Heal upon heal upon heal. All of the auras coming through. But JG, he's having such a great game that he's able to clear them out with great usage from the Sleight of Fist with the Maelstrom. He's prioritizing them.
I cannot stress enough that is almost like the most ideal fight for Army Geniuses, where they start on the Timber, he tanks some spells, uses the Yules, and the rest of the team just comes in, and they don't have to worry about spell after spell now. But the BKBs, we saw that the Alchemist just ran straight towards the Leshrac. It didn't matter where DB was. Like, we could see it again in this fight. Arrow's gonna land. Ken jumps into the river. We'll find the extra stun they'll do with one of the supports. I think that'll be all they'll get as Army Geniuses will back up fast enough. Down to the south though, JG. He's caught out Azura. He's nearby as well. The zip. Oh, gotta be cautious. The missile.
Buster's coming.
Buster's coming.
Ooh.
He should always... Ooh, okay. Back onto the T2 tower though, the double chains. And now they've got the damage fall up as well, because Rapido has jumped inside the middle. Wami out to the left side, a temper chain, but he doesn't find it fast enough. Xerxia, a 3rd fight in a row. They've come out on top, and now Roche could be on the cards.
Could indeed. Should be dropping pretty damn easily if they have anything to say about it as well. You got to just make space. You got to enable DB to play really selfishly for the next couple of minutes, and it's going to be a lot more difficult considering they have this Aegis of the Immortal. And with the BKB, these fights feel so much easier for the Leshrac, but he is just getting chain locked down, burst down at the start. Again, 3/4 mana that he finishes that fight on. So, you know, something like the IO that we were mentioning in the draft probably would have given them a little bit less control for someone like that Ember Spirit, but certainly would have enabled the survivability much more.
Bottom lane.
Even Ken.
Bottom lane, Azura might be in some trouble. I think they need the Solar Guardian. Oh, has he got the damage? They don't even need the Solar Guardian. Oh, Ken. 8, 4, and 6. He struggled early on the Alchemist, but he is well and truly online. And look at this fast-paced play from Xerxia. The Moonlight Shadow trying to enter the jungle. The sentry in the lane was able to scout them out. This gave RB Geniuses enough time to reposition. Oh, shoot. That blink as well. This is a nice edge we're on.
We've got the Arcane Rune to play around as well. You know, these guys like to go for the next level plays, and well, that Arcane Rune certainly does help matters. Rapido, what's he got? He's actually going into no Blink Dagger. He wants the Desolator. He wants that follow-up damage coming through. At least he's got the Aghanim Shard picked up as well, so he really just doesn't want to be playing with a team at all. We see a lot of Position 3 Dawnbreakers be the traditional offlaner, you know, going in first, being that initiator for everyone else to follow up on. Not him. They're trying to take advantage of this Alchemist strat.
Zero? They get the Fiend's Grip on the high ground. Solar Guardian's going to come out shortly to be able to cancel this, but it will not matter because Dire... Oh, look at them just overwhelm Army Geniuses on their own side of the map. DB, along with Wami, was nowhere to be seen in that skirmish.
Now Now Ken's pushing on this bottom side as well. Multiple lanes being pushed in at the same time. You've lost a tier 2 tower. Teehee immediately going to look to claim that one for the outpost. They're straight up onto the high ground. Why not? This is the strongest you're ever going to be on Xerxia.
3 minutes left on the Aegis. You got plenty of time to be able to continue sieging. Gonna look for the tier 2 tower instead, with the mid lane getting shoved out. So we'll be able to find their second tier 2 tower of the game. This net worth lead has just gotten out of control. In the past 6-7 minutes, Xerxia have built an immense lead. And Ken, he's also got out DB. I think the ward on the cliff was able to scout out the Lestrax TP. Oh no.
He was trying to go for the lane cut, just trying to slow down this push a little bit, but again, gotta be selfish sometimes,
And
DB.
now they see Azura, another cliff
Oh,
forward.
not another.
Sees another member of Army Geniuses just positioning too aggressively.
These are obvious cliff forwards as well, man. This isn't, you know, some next level play coming out. The conversion of it, of course, is, but yeah, just really odd positioning coming through from specifically the cores on Army Geniuses.
Look at JG just jumping with Buster. They're going over the tier 4 towers now. They'll kite the Timber Sword. They don't have to worry about him for a couple of seconds when he's cycloned up in the air. But now that it expires, they can dive past the fountain, killing off the Timber. Oh, no,
Should be 2 lanes of racks. Lesh can't even leave the base to be that selfish style that I was wanting. Worth expending the glyph for this one, just to try and keep that siege creep away for as long as possible, considering all towers left up on the top-hand side of the map. Look at this, DB not even worried at all about defending this. He just wants to say, I need to farm. I need to get my item. He has had 0 item progression for what feels like 7 minutes or so.
Oh, thank God. Oh,
0, 7, and 4 is DB's Lestrax. So that is a big reason why he hasn't been able to find this item progression. You mentioned it earlier, it's just been getting picked off way too many times. And this is now props to Xerxia and their vision game. Done a very good job throughout kind of the early on. We saw Army Geniuses, of course, with their map control was an issue, but once Xerxia was able to D-ward a couple of times, get their own vision out of the map, we've seen how much of an issue that has really been.
Just gonna go straight and hit the fake back, trying to catch someone moving too far forward.
Swami. A double concoction.
Oh, the double.
What a way to be able to open up the Solid Guardian and Timber. Where'd he go? This here is supposed to be tanky, but Xerxia with the lead they've got, they can kill off Wami. No remorse, and onto the tier 4 towers they go.
He's got BKB on the Lesh. You gotta buy back. At least on the Timber. Might want to save the chance for a little bit, considering it's only 10 seconds away.
There's the buyback, but
oh, he's stunned. He didn't BKB.
He ate the arrow, but able to turn around. Maybe the damage that's not going to be enough.
No.
The buybacks come out, but the throne's exposed. Xerxia, it doesn't even matter. We're not going to have a last fight as Army Geniuses. They'll tap out. We're going to a game 3 here, 4-hour elimination series. Xerxia will tie this up 1-1.
Very, very odd game coming through. I mean, I thought Army Geniuses had that in the palm of their hand at, 15 to 20 minutes, but just a couple of team fights, that was really all it needed. And I suppose when you're going down this route of full magic damage, BKBs are obviously going to be incredibly effective. You don't have that hyper late game carry, especially if, as we saw on DB's Lesh, you're just dying, well, eventually 8 times in the entire game, but he was chain feeding from like 13 to minute 14.
It was cool to see that everyone can beat everyone in tournaments like this. So everyone have a chance to win tournament.
I like to think that game will be remembered as a turning point, and it proves that anyone can really do it.
I think for any team that is in the finals, that's just 100% focus. You know that you're the 2 best teams in the world. Either of you could win. It's a very weird feeling. It feels like you need to win this with all your soul and body and mind. You know, like everything that you've achieved in Dota and that you've done in Dota has built up until this moment.
Some people maybe feel pressured. Crowd was always very friendly to us. The crowd would help us a lot. Big scene is good for us, but for someone else, I don't know, it's different.
50,000, 500,000, 2 million people are watching, like, okay, that's great. It's a lot of pressure. Playing with thousands of spectators watching you, you're more prone to make mistakes because you're thinking about it more. Just keep your cool and not let any distractions such as the crowd or, the pressure get to you. Guarantee you someone else on the other team will let it get to them, so if you're able to keep your cool, you're probably going to win.
Dota is a sick mental game. It brings out the best and worst in you. Who ended up winning the mental warfare always won the series. That's how you're going to win tournaments. That's how you win the tournament. And if you break the other mind, it gets really easy. Some minds are really hard to beat though.
Well, at TI5, I had no anxiety. Like, I was totally comfortable in my own skin, and I think that I played really well, and everything was great. But then I go to the Summit 4, this $100,000 tournament versus this $18 million tournament. I'm sitting there in the finals, down 0-2 against VP, and I'm just like having trouble breathing. It's weird like that, and you don't know when anxiety is going to hit you. If you're freaking out, somebody else is probably freaking out too.
Just a screw up in the game, you made a mistake in the game, and that's why you lost. Those things can happen, but those things should not eat you. Sadly, a lot of people end up thinking about their loss a lot because they could have done better.
To lose in finals, just one step before winning, it's hit you much harder.
输了以后，第一个感觉就是我很对不起所有的粉丝，因为他们一直以来都很支持我，尤其是在场所有的观众也是在呼喊着我的名字，所以我觉得很对不起他们。然后过后。我很伤心，然后我就出去，躲在厕所啊，出去啊，一直流眼泪，就很久，才能平复下我的心情。
It doesn't matter if we lose or not. Just those words reminds us of what we've done and that we don't need to be afraid of losing. It sounds like. Maybe not a winning mentality, but I think it's the opposite. You remove the fear of losing, so you would not be afraid to do risks, which can be very necessary in these games. I hadn't won a lot in my career up until pre-TI4, but then after we started winning, it was a different kind of scene for me. You got more fans, you got more prestige. Everything changes when you start winning.
Things just worked out for us, and TI5 was our tournament to win. That was one of 2 tournaments we won throughout that entire year, and it was the big one.
觉得自己这是真的吗？就是我当时拿完冠军第一时间就问自己这是真的吗？也没有一些很高兴的一些反应，然后觉得后面确定自己不是在做梦，然后就非常的兴奋吧。
就是如果我会给一个没有打过 TI 决赛的人的意见的话，就是当你打 TI 决赛的时候，就那几个小时，希望可以好好的珍惜，因为时间过得很快，一下子就会过去，然后你会很后悔当时没有好好的享受。
The strongest players doesn't win, it's the strongest team that wins, and it's almost always like that. If you don't perform every second of your games, you might lose to a team that's actually not better than you, but they're just hungrier.
I don't think any Dota player will go into these games and crumble under pressure. This is when you get your strongest. This is when it's going to be the hardest to break you. I strongly believe that if I woke up a morning and I had to play the TI final, I would play the best Dota of my life. And that's all that would matter to me. If I played my very best, nothing else would matter.
So in one of the most iconic Dota games, I think that will go down in history, is Game 4 of TI8 with OG versus PSG LGD. It was a game full of unforgettable moments.
Sam, he catches Arne! They're going for top, they're trying to make space. Is it off? Now Sam gets the call! He gets the call!
One of these unbelievable plays, everyone missed it, including me.
He's got eyes on him. Got the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Anna. Anna, he's in trouble. The blood right silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Anna down for a minute and a half.
And I was like, what happened? Like, I didn't quite understand.
People were asking us, like, what about the Anna, you know, the selling items? I was like, what are you talking about? Which item did he sell?
It's actually hard for anyone to understand because it all happens so fast. Anna, I think he just immediately recognized, I'm dead. We lose the game. I need to do whatever possible to clutch this. So he drags his items and sells them to ensure that he has the buyback gold.
My buyback sold.
Buyback?
Yeah.
It takes me 40 seconds to break it down. It happened in what, 1 second, half a second? Like he realized they were ganking. He's checking his buyback goal. And in the meantime, he's juking them. He's doppelgangering with PL, microing an illusion to fake like it's the real one. I mean, that happened in 1 second, you know?
I mean, it's mental. If you go back to the moment and you ask somebody to do that play in that stress situation, he might, you know, fumble because it's such a high pressure situation. Yet Anna does it very cool, calm, collected.
The way that the game went, like they had no chance. We knew that, and I think Anna recognizing that and being able to sell the item, I think it's ridiculous, but also like genius level.
They would have absolutely lost. That's like, I think that was even before the moment where the Seb call happened. Like, this all led up to just legendary moments in TI.
Challenge 3 down on LGD. OG hitting the ancient, We're going to the game. Dude, I love this game so much, man. We are going to
the best plays come from just feeling it. Like you don't have to think about it. For some reason, through all those like tens of thousands of hours of Dota, you've learned to see an angle.
It's incredible. This instinct when you're just playing the game and you're not really thinking. I mean, to make a play like that, it's wild, man. That's a real 900 IQ play.
One of the coolest things about Dota is that there's room for individual plays. And nothing stands out more than a simple juke.
hard play and now burning. He's got the double gun. Oh, he's going for the mind games there. He's doing it. Oh my God, did he actually get out of this as well?
I think what makes a great juke in Dota is the anticipation and understanding of the situation.
One of the best jukes that I've ever seen was Zai when it came to Evil Geniuses versus Newbie in the upper bracket at TI6. He had this sick play as Elder Titan where he completely lost Newbie.
Here around as best as possible. Zai trying to play around this rush. KP trying to juke out the burrow strike. He knows it's coming. Did he just do it? Oh, he's in the stall. Zai, he throws out the stall. KP, he force taps himself away, blinks back in, goes for the right click. Unbelievable. Jukes him out beautifully by Zai.
One of the biggest things in Dota is what's going on when you can't see parts of the map, you know? Like, if you can't see it, you don't really know what's going on there. You don't know where people are, and you're scared. So it's just me left against KPI. I think I'm super low on HP, and I'm pretty close to dying. And so I just, like, gave it a shot. Because the rush areas, it's incredibly tricky with fog sometimes. So if you see from his perspective, I'm just, like, disappearing and popping out over and over again until I finally leave the pit and then manage to force stuff on the high ground.
Yeah, double fog, force staff high ground, juke the stun, nasty.
That's just Zai. He's very good at positioning and he's rarely wrong. So if you think you're out calculating him, you're probably not.
He's a pretty serious, kind of stoic, quiet guy, but in game he plays with a lot of personality, and I think that's why he's a huge fan favorite amongst everyone. I think the pressure is definitely on the person trying to catch the person that's juking. So KPI probably felt a little embarrassed after Zai got away in that situation.
He just got played, you know? It happens.
Okay.
What does that take you back to?
Looking back, it's not a really good play anyway. In a real situation, I should get the kill like 100% almost because I have stun available, I have 4-staff. And maybe if I like 4-staffed first up the hill and then saved my stun, I would have got him as well. But I just stunned because I went with my instinct and I missed. And then he TP'd away, so it looked pretty bad for me. But yeah, it was a good play by him. Like.
And you missed by like a unit.
Yeah.
Evil Geniuses, off of winning this match, managed to go forward all the way and place 3rd and win $2 million. Newbie, on the other hand, they just bottom out of the tournament. So this match mattered a lot.
A good juke is tough to come by. There's, really just a best way to play every situation. But occasionally there's some wiggle room, and that's where the outplays and the jukes become possible.
I think juking is always instinctual to some extent, but probably for every great play, there's a bit of luck involved as well.
The International Grand Finals is a strange place to try unorthodox builds, but that didn't stop Topson at TI9.
OG versus Team Liquid Grand Finals Game 4.
Look at that build by Topson. Diffusal gyrocopter.
Wait, what?
Okay, I like this too. You're going to be able to get rid of a lot of that aggression that a Slark provides. It provides that that aspect that I was talking about before, where now you've got 4 heroes that are able to get away from some of these disables. So, you know, the X marks the silence on the Death Prophet, going to be very key in order to secure a lot of these kills. So I'm sure that's the main message coming out from Army Genius's coach. Is it still Clairvoyance? Is he still sticking with the boys, do you know?
Yeah, I'm almost certain I've seen him. I think that's him.
Yeah, there he is in the background of DB.
He's always dressing nicely, always wearing suits at some of the games. We saw him at Gamers Galaxy in the suit, and then he's in the nice shirt as well. The other boys they're just chill, but no, he's always coming with the formal attire.
Now, is that drip? You know, I'm not a zoomer. Can you tell me, is he dripping?
I would not. There's multiple levels to drip, but
Wow. Okay. Clairvoyance on Twitter. Let me just say, Aries does not think you've got the drip.
No, hang on. I think there's you could say one particular style is drippy. You could say another style is drippy. I think there's, you got your formal attire kind of, but I feel like if you're looking at drip, it's kind of the streetwear sort of vibe's not the right word, but the streetwear look. And he's got the formal look, so that's a different type of drip. You know what's drippy in this game? You want to know what's drippy? I think Xerxia have got this in the bag. I'm very convinced with their draft. I absolutely love it. I really do. In saying that, I do like this Pango pick. I think it helps a lot of the issues that Army Genius has had. Some AoE control over the Slark, gives you a way to initiate as well. But he too is a hero that doesn't particularly like being run at early on. When you have your items, you can be fine because people can run into a choke point, group up, and then all of a sudden you get a big ultimate out. But I think they're going to have a lot of issues here for Army Genius. This game is all on the back of the Ember Spirit. The Ember Spirit and the Mirana for making rotations. They need to have one hell of a game, I think, for Army Genius to take this series.
Narman's got to be careful about getting picked off. Anytime that you're going up against a Tusk lineup, this is the sort of thing that can happen. Although, 10-man!
Oh, look at this. Loser fight is in a little bit of trouble at the moment. They won't be able to catch up. Some spells traded back and forth, but no one dies. Give me kills, guys. I want a crazy game 3. We got an elimination series. I don't want no pissing around. Just a little bit of spells getting chucked out. Give me kills.
They're always going to be a bit more conservative, though, when there's the risk of falling just short of TI, agonizingly short. I wonder how much this Flame Guard leveled up by Azura is going to influence the lane. Walking up into a Kunkka never feels good. I mean, you're only going to have that 3 armor, so his strong right-click damage is going to be super effective against you. No Sleight of Fist to be able to secure that first range creep. It's tiny things like this that can even influence the complete outcome of a game if you don't have Ember, like you said, that needs to be playing in a dominant way.
It does look like we're going to get 3 bounty routes for Xerxia. So, off to a nice start for themselves. Another game as well. We get to see the position 5 Gyrocopter. This time it's going to be with the Slark paired in the lane. We'll take a look, however, early on with how this mid matchup's going to shape up between Azura and the Conqueror. You mentioned that this should be a pretty fine lane, right? Like Azura's got, being an Agi hero, you're going to have a decent amount of armor to be able to play in the Tidebringer.
It's going to be fine. I'm just a little worried about, maybe I'm just wrong, but the Flame Guard being not as effective as the Sleight of Fist would have been, but he was still able to secure 3 out of the 4 creeps in that lane, including the range creeps. So I feel like Azura is doing a good enough job. I say that as he takes 3 targets.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's not the greatest here. Just he's doing a very good job to be able to at least out-deny JG at the moment, considering that the Conqueror will have a damage advantage as this lane goes on. Enough of that lane. Let's take a look at some of the side lanes. That's where the action is truly going to be. I feel like top lane, they'll need a couple of levels. Bottom lane, oh, just on the wrong side of the shards. Fariz almost goes down. What are you thinking about both side lanes? Is there one you feel like is more likely to get kills?
I would say there's probably going to be a little bit more action down towards the bottom side. It would have been top, actually, Narman. He's got the homing missile coming in onto him, but he's not quite level 2 yet on Teehee, so Narman should be just fine. The thing that I was really looking for was Narman hitting level 3 and getting that that level 2 Holy Persuasion, but I just had a quick look through the Dire Jungle. 0 mana burn creeps, and that is exactly what you want against this Gyrocopter. That is purely how he's providing his position 5 harassment in the lane. So I don't, well, I was about to say I don't really like the fact that none have spawned, but just up to Gaben. I have no influence over that.
You maybe slide a 50 under the table.
It's true. Just a few more levels in the old battle pass.
That'll do the trick. I can be convinced from some extra levels in the battle pass.
Were you playing back in the day when they had stretch goals for the compendium, which it was called at the time, not even the battle pass?
Yes, I was. I don't remember when that was, but
I want to say it was like TI3, TI4, maybe even TI5 time.
that's when I just was getting introduced to it. So I vaguely remember the stretch goals.
So now the stretch goal is you get the right neutral creep spots in your game. You just get to choose them every single time. I think we should bring those back, don't you?
The stretch goals, yeah. I think it'll be a nice little addition. It gives us as a community something to work for. To put our $1 dues to. I'm looking for kills though. That's what I want. Again, I said it with the 10-man fight that we had at the start. We got no kills and thirsty for it. I'm just waiting for these levels to be picked up. DB?
DB's still level 2.
This is not a lane where they're going to be able to pressure Rapido at all. Like, this is a Mirana playing with the Morphling. This is a incredibly weak lane for Army Geniuses, which means Rapido is going to get off to a flying start.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you want as the DP, right? I always talk about the level spikes on the Death Prophet. It's level 7, level 12, and then level 15. Rapido, he's in line to be able to get that super early level 7 off the back of this lane dominance.
I wonder what...
underestimating the old Spirit Siphon now these days. Do you think it needed the buff in the 7.32B? I think it's... From how effective we've seen it be, I would much rather they lowered that effectiveness and made maybe the level 15 talent a bit stronger, just so it wasn't this super busted hero at the early stages.
I'm really not sure. I've obviously with a lot of changes that they're going to test it out time and time just to see how busted it truly is, but at first glance, yeah, they land the arrow. Zero playing with the chains as well, but Conk already having double bracer means that JG just shrugs off the damage. He will have
get either water rune either.
At least it's nice to be able to take out of the hands of Azura.
That's what I was saying. Like, JG's going to be fine. He's got the braces, right, for the regen, but Azura, he's reliant on all of that, especially if you're going for a kill that doesn't work out. So both water runes going to the supports on Xerxia, that's a big win for them. Again, DB, bottom lane, completely out of regen. I'm sure he's saying, oi, Varese, get back here. You got a couple of tangos. That's what I need. And well, you can look to morph up into the Agi just for a couple of uses out of the magic stick, but it's not going to feel all that great until you pick up the Morbid Mask for yourself.
What's up next?
Yeah, I'm really not quite sure what they're going to be able to do with this bottom lane. Maybe we can see Azura try and rotate bottom, but I don't even think they get kills with the Ember rotation. Oh, actually, if Varese is down bottom potentially, like a chains into arrow under the tower, and with levels, DB will actually do a decent amount of damage, but this all comes down to the power rune timings, and well, we've got one up in the next 30 seconds, so both sides are going to need to start rotating.
Looks like Varese is going to be the first one to move, but it's going to be under the scope of vision, just trying to get some blocks up onto these camps. Not that, I mean, Kunkka does a decent job of taking the early stacks, I suppose, but I feel like his main job is just looking to stay in this lane for as long as possible. He's very slightly behind Ember Spirit on experience, surprisingly enough, but he is still that lane dominator. And he's not a lucky boy, though. It's going to be bot where Illusion gets picked up by Loserfi.
It's pretty important, though, the fact that, like you said, he doesn't have the level 6. Lucky a fight didn't break out there, but if that was going to be the case, I mean, Conker wouldn't have had the boat to turn it around. But this creep wave now gives him the ultimate. We might see JJ. His job right now, his obligation is just you got to kill off the catapult wave, and then you can consider maybe going back, farming up the jungle, leaving mid to a support, or even starting to make a rotation. I think probably the best rotation for the Conquer is down bottom as soon as Rapido has the Exo. Who might be in a bit of trouble. Yeah, top lane. In fact, it's going to be Ken that finds first blood. Beautifully done, coming out of the Slark, is able to get his first essence of the game.
I'm just thinking, like, you don't really want to be leaving this lane.
Ken can turn this on Wummy. He's got the pounce up shortly. He's going to be able to land it before the swashbuckle. Ken, he wants a high five. Lovely done. Gets a double kill. A couple of tips for good measure.
We all know that Ken is a fantastic laner, and he's even just being buffed up by the mangoes coming through from T-Heat, level 7, so he's going to be able to back off. This is really early level 7 coming through from Ken in the side lane, actually. Only 7 minutes in. Of course, the downside means that T-Heat is certainly lacking, not even level 3 yet. We get some D-wards off, there we go, level 3. It's actually a kill on this bottom side without the Exorcism from Rapido, so just some good chain combinations coming through in the early point into the silence. I actually really like that silence point. I think if Kunkka's going to be able to make any kills happen, it's going to be on the back of that the 3-second window that you've got around that, just so that you're not just waveforming away or leaping away or remnanting away or swashbuckling away. You need that little bit of extra lockdown.
Again, Xerxia going to be able to find the invis. JG is going to try and chuck out the boat. He will not be able to continue to chase down Narman. It gives him some run buff to play with for the moment. Beautiful slide dodge of the missile, so Azura, he can still stand toe-to-toe against the Conquer. They'll get their first kill of the game, and they'll get their second as well, as Azura off to a pretty good start now. He's struggled with not being able to get any of the runes, but those 2 kills will well and truly pay off.
It's the supports that are putting Army Geniuses in even a decent spot so far this game, right? A lot of these rotations coming through. I mean, Xerxia was able to secure those first 2 the 4 and 6 minute power runes and water runes, so they're doing a great job as well, but this is what they truly needed. I mean, this is an Ember Spirit that is beating a Kunkka in lane, which is pretty damn rare in my eyes.
I wonder what Xerxia want to look to do now, because Wami did use Rolling Thunder top to escape Ken. So they know that this ultimate's on cooldown for a little bit. It can either free them up to gank the Pango, or they can think about ganking an other lane, knowing that the Pango is going to be a non-factor.
Oh, Rapido walked into it.
Connects. Oh, beautifully done. DB instantly will waveform forward to help out. Thanks to Varise's jump. What an arrow coming out from the Mirana.
That's the advantage of playing around in the nighttime, right? Going for these ganks at this period, but I mean, I feel like that was just a little bit of a missed opportunity to react to that. You had a Tusk who I'm pretty sure was pinging stuff out. You had an Observer Ward inside of your own triangle that saw the Mirana rotate in onto the backlines, but yeah, just that lack of vision meant that he didn't see the arrow coming from the trees.
Looks like
finally.
finally.
Luck out, though, on Narman. They get the mana burn creep.
And also they'll lock out with the power rune as well, because this time they even bring Wami just to help secure it. It's going to be a double damage rune down bot. This is a big... Oh, he activates it instantly. Oh, okay.
It's going to be fine enough. I mean, you've got the siege creep wave coming, so I feel like the Army Geniuses supports want to stick around. They've got decent vision, so looking to try and manipulate the creep wave, get the creeps just passively hitting into the tower. Actually, Mirana moves away, so yeah, maybe it was just a misclick.
Still yet to see our first exorcism of the game as well. Rapido playing with Lucifer, just chilling down bottom. Breeze is keeping tabs on this lane, but DB, he's stuck around for much longer than I was expecting he would be able to. I thought Xerxia would have been able to force DB out of the lane, but that kill prior and the Death Prophet just slowing down how aggressive they can look to play.
Kind of does feel like they want to go for this play to be able to use first Exo to take the bottom tower, right? Because I've been saying it all. Genius says have ways to be able to get away from, unless you're getting the silence off and the boat and the Xbox, to be able to get away from a lot of this early aggression. And now you're going to have Chen almost hitting into the level 6 as well. So even if he's not right there, you're going to be able to have that defensive component as well. So I feel like you've got to make a play now. You've got to open up some of that map to be able to play with, because you know that this timing is going to come where both teams are just wanting to run each other. They're both really aggressive lineups.
You do see finally they're starting to consider about top lane. Wami's been able to slowly dwindle down the Slark. Of course, he can get the regen, but just showcasing that the Pango can still be a threat onto Slark's life. So Narman's going to rotate, try and offer some extra damage into the tower. Both sides are looking to smoke though. Down bottom, they'll connect first with a smoke on Radiant onto Rapido. Now with no one showing down bottom, it should be obvious that a play's occurring top as Wami gets a little bit of distance with the swashbuckle, but the Rolling Thunder will not come out. Xerxia, they are perfect with the chain control, and now this will give them an opportunity to chase down Narman, making sure the Chen will not escape.
Literally the exact same play happening on both sides of the map. The only difference is Xerxia able to get 2 on the back of it. Obviously, Pango, the much more important kill where they need to use more resources to be able to do so. But you just see how quickly Narman drops down. Not quite yet level 6, doesn't have the mech, no escape mechanisms, and yeah, just means that he falls down pretty easily for the +1. Wami's
Top lane, they're going to try and defend this. Arrow connects onto JG. Wami with the Rolling Thunder follow-up. It's going to split the fight into half, so they can't protect the Conqueror. He gets the ultimate off, but it will not matter, as Army Geniuses bring the full squad to defend their tier 1 tower.
Power of that last pick, Pango, man. Pretty good pick. We saw them ban out the Bloodseeker towards the end of that game. They were always wanting to go down this route just because it is that pretty good tool of being able to not only have the escape mechanism, but stop a lot of the push from afar. And then we saw just how effective the Rolling Thunder is without even taking into account the shield crash for this lineup that really does want to just ball together, right? So you're sometimes going to just have that 100% damage reduction on the Pango for the full 5 seconds.
And Wami's had a good start as well, so he can go into a Diffusal Blade. And it's a hell of a Diffusal Blade game. That's going to now enable him to scale, enable him to help clear off some of the creeps as well. We also do see down bottom that Rapido has popped his first Exo of the game, so finally this tier 1 tower is going to go down, opening up some map now for Xerxia.
There are so many good targets for this Diffusal Blade with the Swashbuckle, right? Basically only the Death Prophet feels like not amazing, but even then, gets rid of a lot of those Spirit Siphon potentials.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All these strength heroes with, and even the Agi ones with low int gain, low max mana pool. It's not going to be quite so bad for Ken because he's going into the Aghanim Scepter for a lot of those additional stats early on, but certainly you cop a single Swashbuckle to the face as Lucify on his Tusk or Teehee on his Gyrocopter, you're basically down to a third of your max mana.
And I really like the read coming up from Army Geniuses, knowing that the Exorcism has been used prior for the tier 1 tower bottom. They group up as 5, take the mid lane. This can now open up the map a little bit more, just an objective they can find. I don't think there's really, they're not going to look to maybe consider about Roshan, at least for the next 5 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, but this will really help potentially for their invading into the jungle, because you have the Ember Mirana combo. We saw it down bottom, and the damage is going to continue racking up.
It is for sure. JG recognizing the rotation coming through as well, so he's going to be able to TP himself to relative safety. Has to be careful of where he's moving though, as he is starting to get pinged out by Army Geniuses, but they use the Moonlight Shadow underneath the outpost, so they have complete understanding of this movement that's going on here. A little bit of sloppy movement coming through from Narman, and they're going to back off accordingly.
See, even though Army Geniuses
right next.
able to find the tier 1 towers, and you're getting farm across the map with the net worth lead, but I've got big issues with the fact that Ken is free farming. And Denok, this is looking like a hell of a Slark game. If Ken, if he gets this good start, if he gets the items required, he can take over.
He can for sure. I mean, they've got a couple of things that are going to be able to go through the Shadow Dance, I suppose, which feels kind of nice, but it certainly does feel like you're going to be able to get to that point where suddenly all of these heroes with their great evasive spells aren't going to be quite as good. Ken, he is scouting out where exactly the vision is, and he's going to even just carry his own sentry wards, build up that big net worth even quicker.
Beautifully done though from Army Geniuses. They take first rush of the game. Wasn't expecting it to come out that early, but Narman providing all that sustain they would require, and now they give the Aegis over to Azura so he can look to get that much more aggressive.
The Skelly boys certainly help. In the bone zone right now on Narman. Really, obviously, every time you're up against a Tusk lineup and you're the ones to take the Roshan, you're feeling pretty happy with yourselves.
Seems like Xerxia is setting up to try and defend the tower. Like Lucify dropping a lane ward. But he's going to be in trouble. Arrow's going to clip. He didn't cast a snowball. So a free kill for Varese to find. And they're going to consider about walking up high ground here, Xerxia. They need a response.
Now the Bone Boys are still here. They're going to be able to buff up a lot of this early damage that they've got coming through. It's only 17 minutes. Crazy.
Ken, he
Good
just
bounce
completed the center.
with
The
the
jump
axe.
in, jump out.
Oh,
Now with the
they've
death
banned
buff, and he
Rapido.
hit the arrow. Rapido face checks the arrow, and now with the rolling thunder, it'll cover the retreat. But in fact, they're considering about stepping back into the high ground. They've still got to respect Ken. Essence starting to stack up. They'll deal with the first life. Can they play around with the second life though, Ken? Doesn't have the greatest resources.
I fear nothing.
They're still just going to continue committing onto this tower. Maybe backing off now that the Hand of God plus the mech was used. Could look to maybe get a pick off. Wait for the mechanism to be back on cooldown, but they think it's just a little bit of a bridge too far. But now it does mean that tier 2 towers, there's not going to be any glyphs for that. Feel much safer just pushing in onto the low ground to be able to fight into this. You've got the Skadi, sorry, not the Skadi, the Manta picked up on DB. Feels very nice at being able to get out of that silence that's still needed for a lot of that continuous control of Embrace.
Ember, he remnanted back to top. They see that JG's alone. Yeah, Azura's going to finally run into him. Oh, the Conquer is supposed to be tanking with the early game. Someone that eats just ability after ability and is difficult to kill off, but Army Genius has proved to that's not the case in a game like this.
Can I just say that Varese is playing like Legolas right now. Every single arrow is hitting. Like he got it bot for that kill onto the DP that probably shouldn't happen. He's gotten multiple arrows into that mid lane. He's landed a couple in these past 2 skirmishes as well. He's having a fantastic time.
Alright, that's a big chorus snipe. Ken was able to get the Pangoli's Chorus, which had the Aghanim Shard on it.
Be able to stop the tower from going down though. Lift refreshed. Be playing a little bit conservatively, but not too much, knowing that the Kunkka was dead up until this point. So it's actually Army Geniuses putting themselves into a pretty good spot. 19 minutes into the game. Aries prediction in shambles right now.
Oh, this is where it turns around. Smoke from Xerxia, but look at Radiant's control. They've got a great Observer Ward. Armin's in a decent
DB's not
position.
there.
Ken, he's got the nighttime vision as well. He's going to be able to scout up the Chen. An easy kill, nothing crazy, but just stacking up the Essence, and this will give them an opportunity now to recontrol their jungle.
Very important. I mean, even just as a TP point, right? Like, you're going to look to get some D-wards off at the moment. Xerxia just placing down some of these sentries. You've got the D-ward off from the Slark once more. So it really feels like the only time that these Observer wards can go down are right before team fights, because Slark is always going to be able to D-ward them if it's just on the field of battle. I really do like the fact that you've also got a 4-staff on Mirana, so makes up for one of the weaknesses that
Lucify
you've got
jump in.
Nama's Chen.
Onto the Ember, but Slark, he ate the arrow, so Ken wasn't able to follow up. He still gets the pounce over the cliff line. He's going to have another round of the pounce as well. Do they have enough members nearby to be able to protect the Ember Spirit? But the Rolling Thunder's going to fly on 4, but Xerxia, they'll sidestep this instead. Wommy, it turns back to Ken. But a Dark Pack's going to buy in some time, so Ken will escape, but the Ember Spirit, he still goes down, and now they can turn it around. It's off to the left side. They'll catch up to the Chen. They'll also run into the Pangolier. Xerxia, I mean, very similar to last game. They were down and almost out of the count. This game, they went high ground in Army Geniuses. They were looking strong. They were looking like they're in the lead. But Xerxia, one fight, and they are back in this.
Aries prediction god coming through here with being able to bring them back into this. They're going for another. They're trying to catch DB on the retreat here with the Haste Rune coming through from Ken. It's very scary to go up into this Slark.
Middle tower is under attack.
just wants to be spamming out his abilities, even just holding on to 3 mangoes as well. It was the X Mark that won in that fight. Just being able to land it onto the Ember Spirit. It was a great force staff coming through from Varese as well, being able to interrupt the strength of the Pounce coming through. What I was saying before that fight started as well is it provides Naaman with a little bit more security too. Again, you're a Chen, you're very immobile, but if you're able to just get him away from this arrow combination, then you've done a great job. He's getting closer and closer towards that Wraith Pack too. Already finished up the Vlads, so in terms of what it means for the damage that you're able to output at Army Geniuses, it's just spiked up a good amount. I mean, 18% extra damage in an aura is real significant.
I think they're still in a position for Army Geniuses where they can look to fight. Like, this Rolling Thunder is going to be that big ultimate through team fights. The AoE control, that Dire, they kind of have with the Conquer. A little bit more difficult for them to find the connection. Some of the...
Do you think this is the game for the Aghanim Scepter on the Pango where they actually go the level 15 talent? I think it's kind of nuts, this game. Like, you need the consistent mana burn. You need the stun. You need the way to deal a lot of damage inside of the Shadow Dance, for example. And even just not being a Spirit Siphon target for the Death Prophet and still being able to do damage. I think this is the game for it.
So maybe this team fight, if they're able to succeed and get that gold, it could get him closer to the item. So Army Geniuses...
Place down the ward. They will.
The Moonlight.
This movement, scout it out.
Now Xerxia, they can play accordingly. They're going to back off of the group. Place the ward on the cliff, so Teehee in a great spot to be able to pop this. Do they stick around though from Dire?
I think it'd be suicide to stick around. Like, you know you don't have vision, you know they're there. They just recently placed down an observer wall, which might just get removed by Varese instantly, and yeah, that's immediately where he looks to patrol towards, especially around this Roche time that has the potential of coming up within a minute. So they fought so hard for that outpost control, but they've just lost the entire vision off the top side of the map. So at least with Xerxia, they respond accordingly. They all move down to the bottom side of the map, realizing that, okay, well, our... I think their axe isn't going to fall down just yet, and there's not potential for Roshan quite yet. So let's just try and force them to come down here away from the objectives that are actually important in the grand scheme of this game.
Another smoke from Army Geniuses, but Teehee, great position from the Gyrocopter. Pops the smoke, and he'll be able to get out. And it looks like Gyro, he might get out as well. Oh, Teehee, beautifully done. All right, that's 2 smokes now back-to-back that Army Geniuses get nothing out of. They might get the kill on the Conquer. He's going to be forced to BKB TP out, it looks like, and yep, JG will do that.
It's the power of the mutton chops, man. Just gives him all that extra little bit that he needs. Haste Rune bottom, going to be picked up by Azura, so it gives Ember a huge power spike for this next little bit.
Oh, they
also got the Arcane Rune running.
Xerxia double smoked. Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yep, hate to see it.
They're at a premium. Pretty quick Roche respawn, only 20 seconds away, so any
Even
kind of
better
pickoff that
positioning.
gets found out.
Smoke's not
a
gonna
buyback,
pop
though.
and they get the jump in, but Azura, instant use of the BKB, and now they'll turn it around. They'll kill off Lucifer. They know JGB has no BKB. He's got the run buff at least to placement. They're going to charge on forward. Rapido charges up the X with the leaping forward as well. They should
Nice
be able to
force.
pop the Ember, the X-Pack. They'll get him. They'll kill off Azura, but they need to stay grouped together on Xerxia, targeting down Wombi for the moment. A swashbuckle out to the left side, but Ken, he says, come back here. You're not getting anywhere. Xerxia, they're now on the Marana as well. 4 members right from the face of the earth, and now Xerxia can go back to the pit.
The double smoke just gave them the extra power that they needed to be able to take that one out. Still forces a buyback out of the Tusk, but I mean, well worth it considering this Roshan's come up. You're going to be even able to have the Depth Shroud available for the Slark, just to continue committing super deep into these team fights, because you see what happens when he's able to.
They have to all commit for this. They do not take Roche fast. Hit Roshan!
I think it'll be fast enough. I mean,
Azura's got BKB back. He's going to go for this. He'll get the vision. They're going to wait for him in. Ken gets the Aegis. And they're going to stand their ground in man fight though. JG with a BKB TP out. They've got nowhere to cancel it. And the rest of Xerxia, they too will make it out. Unfortunately, Teehee. Oh, well, they're not going to go for the gyro. Great success.
Yeah, easy escape. No no cares in the world. I was trying to think of a PG word to use there, where they just back off entirely. Important thing is, though, Wraith Pact is up on the Chen, so that's going to provide a whole lot more survivability for them. You're even getting into the Lotus Orb soon-ish for Varese on his Mirana. It's going to make him feel a lot more survivable. I mean, he's just copping more than half of his HP and damage just from cleaves coming through from the Tidebringer every single fight. They've even gone into the AC as well.
He's onto the Ember. Double Pounce is out. The rest of the team's soon to connect, but they're lacking detection. Oh, the Repeater was waiting on his run though.
They were waiting.
They know the BKB's on cooldown as well. Azura's in a little bit of trouble. The follow-up's not going to be there at the moment. Can they secure with a kill still? But off to the left side, Wummy with the Rolling Thunder. It'll buy them some time to retreat, but they still get Azura. And now Ken, he pounces on the high ground. This is looking very reminiscent of Game 2.
Yeah, it is indeed. He was going for being able to slide a fist onto one of these neutral creeps just to be able to dodge out that Buster Rocket at the end of it, but they'd been claimed recently. They only just respawned now, so going for these big plays, going to try and evade a lot of this big push coming through, but it just feels such an awkward position to be in.
Oh, not the banner on the tier 3 tower.
Planting the flag, man. They're saying this is our territory.
Look at them. No way, Xerxia. You gotta hang on, lads. This is... I don't know, you're only up 4,000 gold. Dive on a tier 4 tower like that. You gotta be cautious.
Radiant's middle barracks is falling.
Really quick with them backing off. Do you know where the Ag Shard went as well? I think DB snagged it.
I want to say
not
yes.
certain. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say that he did, because I just did a quick look through of all of the Xerxia heroes beforehand, and I was like, surely they didn't give it to the Gyrocopter when you've got a DP or a Slark. Or even a Long Boy.
Oh, not the Long Boy. Morphling's even got the Scepter to play with as well, so... Who is he looking to prioritize in regards to his replicate? Okay. Okay.
I mean, if you've got an Ags, man, you just want that double pounce, right? You want an ability to be a lot more aggressive yourself.
Army Geniuses moving out the base. They got the Moonlight Shadow. It's soon to expire. They have a very good cliff ward. It's kind of the north of the map. But Xerxia, they are not home. Recognizing that AG are pushing up aggressively, so they're going to back up to the T2 tower. Luzify gets a jump.
Blink dagger on.
The force to BKB early on. Ken's going to be able to fall up as well, forcing out another Rolling Thunder at the start of the fight. This is a big victory for Xerxia, because now they can charge on forward, recognizing a lot was expended. He's in trouble for the moment. They'll be able to deal with the Gyrocopter, but they need to address the Slark as Ken is onto the Morphling, starting to stack up the Essence. He'll be able to get some distance thanks to the 4-star, but DB's still in trouble. A pounce after safety, they got the X. They can drag DB back, another pounce, and he's okay. The mobility for the Morphling will enable him to escape, but the rest of Army Geniuses, they might not have the same fate. Narman will be chased down. Ken's onto Varese next as well. A double leap back to the high ground.
A lot of stacks.
Look at Ken go, man. He's stolen so many stacks. Nothing to fear on the Slark. Okay.
It's just the Aegis, it's fine.
Oh, he loses his essence though, so it is going to slow down the push a little bit. They should be able to get at least the full set. I guess there's tier 2's top and bottom as well, so they wouldn't be able to get a second full set of barracks. Oh, some tips. What's going on here?
I hate for Varese coming out here. I don't know about that.
It's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of death timer as well. Maybe now they're thinking, okay, well, we weren't super keen on committing super heavily because obviously the Tusk able to get there for the save.
Isolated. BKB slow cooldown as well for the Death Prophet. Yeah, they're going to get another kill. They don't have the outpost to be able to TP into repeat. That's an ambitious TP out, and Army Geniuses, they'll kill off 2 stragglers.
Yeah, and they can just look to push on forward immediately. The line's being drawn down mid. You've got the Manta Illusions from the Morphling to be able to push down this wave. I think Wami's going to get there ASAP. He's super close to being able to pick up that Basher for himself, which again is going to be really effective at just stopping a lot of the aggression coming through from Ken. And that's the main issue. You've got to make sure that Ken is being controlled. He, like the Rolling Thunder duration, man.
I understand it. I get it. I think they have control issues, and I think that's where the Rolling Thunder helps out.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying too,
yeah,
right?
No, I 100% agree. And I thought he was actually going to this game. JG? You're gonna have to pop a BKB TP out, and he bashes. Oh, he got it! No way! Wami, all he needed was just to use the roll-up. That secured 100% guaranteed bash. They'll chase down JG. It'll take him a little bit of time, but they'll get some voice lines out in the meantime as well. For a second, I'm like...
It's no sleight of fist basher into an Enigma black hole,
No,
but
it's
it still feels pretty good.
For a second, I'm like, what's wrong with me doing? You're like going for this roll-up? You need to be right-clicking. But I understand now. I didn't know it was a secret thing hidden to the core of the pain clear. You use the roll-up, you right-click afterwards, guaranteed bash.
That's why he's master tier. Is he master? No, platinum tier. Gotta grind a little bit more, Wami. Making me look like a fool.
This is a pretty big item for Ken. He's got Lincoln's now completed. This will address the Morphling Scepter. I mean, you mentioned, as soon as I was bringing up the question, you said it before I even finished. You recognize that Morphling, he needs to replicate into the Slark. And, well, now the fact that he has the Lincolns, it's pretty much solely for the Morph this game. Like, there is nothing else that he's worried about single target-wise.
Yeah, I mean, what even else is there? There's the Penitence, and that's about it, right? And if Chen is getting close enough to the Slark, Chen's probably dead. So it's not feeling super great. Look at what Narman's got as his neutral item, by the way. Just providing a little bit of that zoning. Oh, I just said back the Ogre Seal Totem. Surely you want that. I think he needs it, man. You need to be able to get away from a lot of this early aggression.
Comes short in the lane. Lucifer jumps. Ken's got the fob. All they want to do is just try and force some abilities and steal some essence and look at the retreat. Force out to the right side, a double force as well. This is perfect from Xerxia. They still need a way to be able to protect Rapido, and they don't have everything. They already used their defensive toolkit to get Lucifer out.
Really like that as well. I mean, it shows what exactly you need to do. Morphling was very keen to make sure he wasn't getting in super close range so that you get the Spirit Siphon off. He stayed far enough away, he's got the Dragon Lance, and the only one that committed onto that was Wami in the Rolling Thunder. So it means no Spirit Siphon, no survivability, didn't want to have the BKB available. With this, they might actually get a lane of racks of their own.
Please drop a banner. Please drop a banner, Army Geniuses. Come on.
And Veriz needs to tip someone. 3 people, actually.
You can... What that thought, because... Waveform in. Lucifer.
Quick pick off.
Another double force. They don't get the kill, though. This is what Ken wants. A messy fight where he can start to get the essence.
He's in the Slark morph form as well. Diffusal Blade nearly into the arrow as well. And Legolas message sometimes.
You have Rapido back up. So with the Death Prophet spawning, Army Geniuses, they will retreat.
I feel so much less confident when they don't have that Wraith Pact available. It's still a crazy amount of reduced damage output when you consider that they have a decent amount of saves coming through, right? BKBs, 4-staffs, Hand of God, Mech. They just need to make sure that they don't get 100 to 0 by anyone.
This is... Who do you feel like Conker's going to be prioritizing with this Hex? Is it I guess the Morphling and the Ember they feel like they have instant control issues on?
I mean, you'd have to say it's Ember, right? He doesn't have Lincolns, he doesn't have BKB. He's wanting to commit quite heavily into fights pretty often.
They see DB waveform in the lane. If JJ can get that Hex off, simultaneously down to the right side, though, but the Rolling Thunder's out. There's not going to be follow-up. Inside the river, though, they're falling low to the north, though. DB, he's in trouble. A waveform, going to be able to reposition. Ken, though, pounces over the cliff line. The Slark lands a stun. They've got the torrent! JG! What a torrent! Onto 3, and Xerxia instantly swamped to Army Genius's location. You couldn't have done it any better.
Oh boy, hasta luego indeed. Goodbye is what they're saying right now over to Army Geniuses. I was thinking, Lucifer, you are absolutely insane wanting to go in that deep. But he was just blocking them off entirely.
He's going to be in some trouble as well. Ken's got the full control out of the pounce. He doesn't have a buyback. Ken gives him a tip as well before he dies.
They've got that bottom lane available. No one really wants to be expending the buyback, and even when Mirana and Chen come back online, they can't stop this sort of push. Still holding on to plenty of those essence shift stacks. 216 agility over on Ken right now. Hitting like an absolute truck.
They're pinging T4 towers.
Oh, they should know that Roche is about to respawn, though. They might be able to just get this tier 2 tower, go straight into the Roche pit. That's what's getting pinged out right now. Get what you can for free. And what is it? Refresher. Yeah, okay. Give it to the DP.
Look at Lucifer's position. They're ready for this, though. Plus drops a lane. A ward in the lane, hiding in the trees. So as soon as the smoke pops, he'll be able to get the blink out and give them that read. Radiant have very good vision as well inside Dire's jungle, but instantly that's taken away.
And they find the pickoff. They didn't get a chance to be able to go into Roche. They've got this understanding that the vision is right outside of the pit. Just using the Manta Illusion, but they've got to make a play now because that mid lane's pushing in. It's going to be obvious. Oh, arrow. Doesn't quite connect onto Lucifer, but they now know the direction that they're going to be engaging from. Great couple of sentry wards. Catching them out here as... He's fine, I think.
Fights for Xerxia can't change even though they are this far ahead. You need to kite the Rolling Thunder, and the Slark needs to get in and get out. You're trying to stack up as much essence as possible without heavily committing. And for Radiant, you gotta get kills through BKB and Rolling Thunder. If you don't, fights are gonna look very difficult.
I still think DP needs to get burst down. Rapido, his positioning is so important, so the fact that he's been able to pick up a Heaven's Halberd, it's a really good sign for Xerxia. Even just the passive evasion that it's going to provide for you. No MKBs or any kind of true strike coming through outside of the Pango swashbuckle so far. Azura, his item progression is certainly stagnated. I saw him, I swear, about 5 or 6 minutes ago with the Aghanim Shard queued up, and he is still a little bit of gold short for it. This game of cat and mouse. Narman just
GG.
hiding in the trees.
GG, they're going to catch up the Conquer. Look at the damage that comes out. They've got the BKB, the run buff to play with as well. Xerxia, they need to try and protect it, but the Bash is Wommy. Will make sure they can stop the Conquer's TP. They'll secure the kill, and now they're going to look for more. But you got to respect the Slark along with the Death Prophet, because Xerxia, they want to hit back. They're charging forward, but Army Geniuses with the executive call. They'll retreat, reevaluate how they can take this team fight.
Radiant's middle tower.
They just got to back off entirely. Do not go close to this high ground. There's no respect.
They missed the pounce. A force sub out to the left. They're going to try and steal Morphling. He's stuck inside the middle. He's in trouble for the moment. Gets away from out to the left side. He's going to be okay. Can play with the pounce to reposition, but you've isolated the Morphling, so the rest of the team, they're in trouble. A Slark can charge on forward, meanwhile to the left side, they're on the Morph. They still find him. DP pouncing the tree line, he's gonna be okay. But Slark, they haven't addressed him for the moment. Chains is out into the stun. He's in trouble without no one playing behind him.
The Chen kills him.
They get rid of Ken, no way, and now they can catch up to Teehee. It's the Morphling. Just made so much space, TV. All the time in the world. Xerxia were trying to kill off the Morphling. Ken was on his own little island, and now Army Geniuses, they can get Roche.
You see how much easier life is for DB, though, as soon as the Kunker's dead, right? No Scythe of Vice, no X marks, and it means that if you're able to steal that Slark, the Morph, then you feel immortal. He was able to get away by playing off the back of that. He's just putting his life on the line right now.
Look at
This is a great spot. Look at that choke point.
Team fight from Wommy, just bouncing back and forth of any wall that he would ever want. And back inside the pit. DB, he's claimed everything. Army Geniuses, it feels like they're the ones in the lead now. They've got a win condition. Slark ball back. If you kill him again, this game might be over.
And they just used the BKB as well on the Death Prophet. So I wonder if they want to back off entirely. I wonder if they just want to immediately go again. I suppose they are still playing so heavily on the back of the Rolling Thunder coming through from the Pangolier there. Wommy's been playing a really good game, at least in terms of the team fights. Was falling off a little bit in terms of his farming potential and the net worth, but He's certainly been able to recover that. And he's a solid damage dealer in his own right as well. I feel like they might be trying to catch out Ken when he goes for one of these super deep dives. You've got the Penta Edge Sword on the Pango. You've got the plus 30 swashbuckle damage. He is actually dealing a fair amount right now.
Do we feel like Army Genius has forced the issue? You know, Slark brought back. You know, multiple other heroes brought back as well. You have this Aegis advantage. Do you consider about taking tier 2 down bottom and going high ground?
Do you need to wait for anything on the Ember Spirit before you make the play? That's my big question. Because he's the one that has the Refresher Shard. It's actually got a Timeless Relic as well. Yeah, I think he's pretty ready, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's well and truly ready. This is kind of full capacity. Those next other items afterwards are just maybe helping out with some survivability. But this is all he needs now in regards to damage.
Reese can just buy the Lotus Orb as well. He should have enough for buyback, even if he doesn't. Maybe he just wants to secure the tower first before fully committing. It's going to give him a whole lot more survivability, not just for himself, but for the rest of the team.
DB just completed a butterfly as well, so good luck for the Slark being able to address the evasion now. And we've seen time and time again throughout these fights, Slark has been trying to deal with the Morphling. Wrap around, that's the call.
Oh, another smoke coming through.
They
preemptively drop down that Wraith Pact.
Look at this, the Pangolier, instant into the roll-up. Look at the first stun onto Ken. The bounce back's not there, the Slark. He should be okay for the moment. The pounce is still on cooldown. Another couple of seconds, Ken. Oh, under the cover of the Depth Shroud, he's out, and now they know that the Rolling Thunder's on cooldown, so this can give a window of opportunity for Xerxia just to target down the Ember. The blow him up is going to buy back an instant to render back into the Hex
again.
They might be able to bring him down and die back for the Ember Spirit.
Oh my god.
Oh no! This is up to DB now. DB's got to turn this completely around for the Slark. He too dies. And now with the Morphling can turn to Rapido up to the northern side. There's no escape. It's DB against the world. As he looks like he can come out on top. Death Prophet's got to buy back. He'll rejoin. On the other side of the map, Lucify solo kills Varese.
They were nearly able to get that bash through from the Swashbuckle as well. Buybacks galore coming out. Only 2 heroes left in this game with it, Pango and the Tusk. And well, I really like the decision from Xerxia to go back in onto that when the Rolling Thunder expires. You know the control is severely lacking and not a single use out of that BKB on the Ember Spirit. The chain lockdown was perfect coming out from Xerxia, but still wasn't enough. As soon as Slark falls down, you are just far too lacking in damage. And they know this on Army Geniuses. They're willing to full-on commit with both Varese and Narman buying back. Slow down the siege as much as possible. I really don't feel like they can commit.
Oh.
Maybe they can if they get a hex like that.
But look at the Rolling Thunder from Wummy. Beautifully done. Is going to try and disrupt the backline. DB still in trouble for the moment. The snowball's going to buy him enough time. DB doesn't get the attribute shift off. They've killed off the first life. How do you set up though for round 2? They'll make the attempt, but the instant waveform, DB's okay.
Wummy? It's a bit low.
They might get Narman as well. Look at the damage coming up.
Remember, they bought back to this.
From Teehee. They get rid of Chen. DB still a force to be reckoned with on the Morphling, but Slark is up in 25 seconds. Army Geniuses, you need to get out now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They get away without losing the racks. That's huge.
No way.
What a great defense from Xerxia.
Holy crap. Game 3, Elimination Series. We are 45 minutes in, and it's only a 4,000 net worth lead. The probability is so goddamn close. 52% for Xerxia. What a game we have in store for us.
So what's next? That's the big question. Like, can you wait to get this level 25 on DB? I feel like they're not going to give you the opportunity on Xerxia. They're just saying, like, look, dieback timer expended. Slark, he's going to have the buyback in, 3 minutes? And he's finally going for that BKB, realizing that, look, I've been caught out a few too many times. That chain lockdown from the Rolling Thunder, it's seriously annoying.
This still gives Morphling a window where this Butterfly is going to have so much effectiveness in these fights. I am very intrigued if Slark continues with this Echo Saber. I think he needs an MKB to be able to deal with the Morphling. DB can carry these fights. If the Pango makes enough space, if Ember doesn't get blown up at the start, if these two heroes can kind of tank some of the abilities and allow DB just to freely right-click and kill off a couple of supports, he will win them the fight. He is so incredibly farmed.
I'm just trying to think of anything else he could potentially go. It's going to sound kind of crazy. He's got the MKB queued up now, but I wouldn't hate a Revenant's Brooch coming out here from Ken. It provides True Strike for all of the hits, so the Butterfly isn't as effective. You've also got a Chen with a Ghost Scepter, and against a super high armor target like a Morphling, it could be the difference maker.
Another thing to consider, I've only just noticed it now, JG's playing with Refresher, so you have the potential for double Hex, which is...
Double Ghost Ship Fleet as well, potentially coming through. I feel like if Slark dies, I think you just lose the game, right? So I don't think you need the Tidebringer cooldown. It's all about the lockdown, all about just enabling Slark to have the freest game that he can.
But they've avoided...
He's picked it up.
And they've avoided the time that Slark is playing without a buyback. It's going to be up in a minute. He'll probably... It looks like they're giving a lot of priority over to Ken to find that gold, so... That was a big win condition for Army Geniuses, and the fact that they're unable to play with it anymore puts Xerxia in an incredible position.
They've got that Ghost Ship Fleet available. They've got the lane starting to push in. They really want to try and force someone down towards this bottom side. The thing is, though, you've got a Conquer that's very capable of pushing out this lane. He doesn't X-mark TP to be able to deal with this, just ending up walking his way back, but anything to drive them away from Roche.
Ken's going to see DB. They've got the nighttime advantage. He sees DB, doesn't see anyone else. DB wary enough, will waveform out. Very close to Xerxia connecting.
One of those sneaky heroes that just has a little bit more of that nighttime vision than anyone else is the Slark, and what a great item to pair together with that, with the ninja gear. You always have the first bit of information.
Oh my lord, that arrow was so close. There's a DD! Kenny gets it! Stuck inside the river though. Wommy's going to try and move in with the Rolling Thunder. JT with the refresh. The double hex is out. The Morphling's in trouble. Ken is able to lock onto his target. They drag it back to the river. They kill off the Morphling. DB's gone. And now Ken can thrive. Bouncing up to the high gun. He won't have the
They actually
control
have to
for
get
Azura.
this bounty.
They might look for Varese.
He's got buyback.
But they've still found the Ember though. Oh, Lucifer, perfect read. They knew exactly where he was. They weren't waiting for him to TP out. Lucifer moves in with the punch. They stop it in
Wommy
its
as
tracks.
well.
And meanwhile, the T4 towers. Rapido almost kills Wommy.
Great 4 stuff coming through for Varese. It's the off-lane duo. They've just got to do whatever they can from this game to be able to try and protect this. And will they be able to do so? Disarms helping their cause a little bit, but I feel like you kind of have to let this this tower go down. Glyph's not going to do too much of anything.
The Rolling Thunder, but it's only onto JJ. He waveformed in. Instant use of the BKB. DB is not messing around. He doesn't want to give them an opportunity to find the Hex, but the BKB is about to expire. DB is going to be ever so cautious with his positioning. A waveform out to the left side, but now without the BKB, Xerxia, they will have full control. The team fight. They drag back of the tidal wave. They'll get rid of Wommy. But the issue is that there's no BKB now, so this should be mega creeps.
They had no chance.
Should be. They're trying to delay it out for the Ember Spirit to be able to come back into this one, but it's just going to be too much. Eventually, the Glyph coming out, just trying to buy that little bit of extra time. They won't be able to do it though. Arrow though, it's onto the Conquer. Do they full on commit for this?
In.
They tried.
In and out he goes. Snowball only onto the illusion. JG's fallen pretty low as well. Wommy on the back line. He's got the Rolling Thunder back up. DB's going to look to follow up. They need to keep tabs on the Conquer, but he's nowhere to be seen for the Hex. Look, deal with the Gyrocopter. They've got the Skadi Storm Rapido as well. And look at Wommy just making space, holding Lucifer out to the right side, but now he needs to follow up to play with DB. They need that extra little bit of control to try and deal with the Death Prophet, but Rapido's just going to TP out, but instantly stopped in its tracks thanks to the bash from Wommy. That's a dieback on DP as well.
It almost feels like it's the territory where Army Geniuses might consider going for that all-in push. You know, you've been mega creeped. Like, you're not going to have too much of a time where lanes are going to be in a good position for you. You've hit level 25. Regen Rune isn't going to provide them that much for this full-on push, but I feel like you go Megas here. Not Megas, Throne.
They need the bounty. They're pinging out the bounty down bottom for DP. It might not give her enough gold. Buyback's going to be up in 10 seconds. Needs 170. Do they have philosophy?
Nowhere near enough gold. No.
They're walking it down. Early use of the Rolling Thunder from Wami.
40 gold away.
Oh no. He'll have it at least before he respawns, but that's still plenty of time for Army Geniuses to go for the throne. Xerxia's out, but Ken, he's nowhere to be seen. They need the Slark to be hitting into the Morphling. It's finally going to look to TP back. A pounce on 4 with the BKB protecting TP for the moment. He's going to turn to try and deal with JG, but the conk is way too tanky. And Army Geniuses, they're going to respect him and look to get out. But Xerxia, they're on the pursuit. Ken doesn't want to give them that opportunity to retreat. Onto Wami goes, the pounce is off the mark. And Army Geniuses, they'll back up safely enough, but you still got to get out. You can't stick around. TPs, do they make it? No, Varese, he doesn't make it. The pounce from Ken, thanks to the higher ground ward. Scouts out the Marana, but at least she has a buyback.
This feels like a game where you probably give the Aegis over to potentially the Death Prophet, just because she's the one that bought back. I suppose the Slark actually doesn't have the buyback even available for himself, so much more valuable to just give it over to Ken. Plenty of tools to be able to... Do you give the Aghanim Shard over to the Tusk this game? I feel like finding that key pickoff would be a pretty big deal. They give it to DP instead. That Walrus kick could potentially just pick someone off onto the side. They're locked down. The chain is just way too good right now for Xerxia.
It's a buyback status for Radiant. Only Azura with a buyback here. The throne and no other objectives. And no glyph as well. They need to take the fight before Xerxia get inside the base. The Rolling Thunder from Wami.
Can they
They've
kill
been
the
able to
Conquer?
isolate the Slark. They're attempting to bring down Ken, but once again, the depth shot, it's going to be enough to keep him alive. Ken's able to reposition, but TB flies on over, straight on top of the Slark, but it will not matter. Isolated for the moment. He's going to be able to reposition, but they've kited out the Rolling Thunder, and off to the right side, Ember, he's going to be brought down. He's got a buyback to be able to utilize here, so he'll rejoin instantly.
No more buybacks for Army Geniuses. The only ones that have it are Xerxia. They don't have a lot of this time left on the Exo, though.
Me? You don't have a buyback, sir? Oh no, that's all your control in fights.
And
now
the
they
creeps
get the
are just
Hexes
building
well
up.
into the Morphling. Lotus Orbit's not going to protect him. It's a little bit too late. Force stuff out. Waveform still caught up for a couple of seconds. One more right click, and they've done it.
Oh no.
Xerxia, they will move on forward in the lower bracket, knocking out Army Geniuses in a thriller of a Game 3.
Just some crazy individual plays as, yeah, big celebrations coming through. High fives all around. They're out of their seats right now. The only one still there is Ken. Cool, calm, collected. He's
Run, chase heroes down, I guess. It's different.
Did you guys talk about that beforehand?
Nope, we did not talk about anything that we were buying or doing, more or less. I mean, we had everything that we talked through, but the diffusal gyro is not a thing that ever came up.
No, we didn't know. No, I don't think we knew. We didn't practice it a single time.
We were in the middle of something, something was going on in the game, like, I don't know, we were smoking or something. And then I was like, all right, my gyro just got a diffu, I just made a joke out of it, and then we just kept on playing, right? We just trusted him.
Hi, diffu. There's no mana. Yeah, I rocket at the Omni.
See, they have diffu actually, they're gonna remove my mana.
I can kill the Wisp.
I won't have mana.
There we have it, Miracle's mana. It's pretty much entirely gone by Thompson's focus. He'll look towards JG. He's trying to roll up, but he can't get out. There's no mana. He's dead. OG pushing Liquid back to the base. Mind control out of mana. Thompson with his diffusal blade picking them apart. The diffusal
is absolutely working for all their mana.
But I don't think anyone would have expected to see Gyro, the deciding game.
I mean, I always had a bit of a different view on Gyro. And that game specifically, we were playing against some Bristol Omni heroes that are really mana dependent and are really tanky. So like, you know, you buy some mage and what does it do? Not really much. Basically the problem was like, if they run out of mana, their heroes are pretty useless, basically. So I was like, I mean, diffu, so like, why not? Just try it.
You thought you saw it all in game 2, you thought you saw it all in game 3, and there it is called! OG are your two-time TI champions, they've done it, folks!
Så det får sin